It's going to be a crazy space.
Where's Bugsy, dude?
He'll be here soon.
He was so hyped. He's been waiting for months for this.
Oh, yeah.
Let me send him an invite.
Mr. Bully NYC, what's up, guys?
GM, my beautiful degenerates.
What's up, dude? Phil, what's up,
Bully?
man?
GM.
NYC NFTs, what's good?
What's up,
Phil Baca, Dante, Don't Hate, Crypto, Court, Max,
Marcus, I see you down there. Oh. Mike P, what's up?
What's up, Morgan? All right, looks like the SafeMoon army is filing in. Hey,
yeah.
Casey. Oh, Thomas is here.
Hey, Thomas. Welcome. Everybody, hey, what's up, Thomas? We can hear you, man. We are going to keep our speakers limited to start, y'all. I'm glad that y'all are going to have questions. It's going to be like the title of the space, DeFi Mind Explosion. We're going to talk about a lot of things that are going to be over my head. So I'm assuming it'll be over your head as well. Or maybe not. But yeah, so I'm just going to keep the guest speakers limited for a time. And I just wanted to go over a few quick ground rules. My name's John. Just real quick about me. My name's John. I'm a 46-year-old. I've worked 20 years in a blue-collar job. I was a chef. I worked on film sets, TV sets. I got into crypto about 5 years ago, very passively. I was given a few Ethereum for a catering job, actually. And so that kind of got my mind into it. And, like a lot of you, maybe, I dove into NFTs and crypto pretty deeply this year. And since about early May, mid-May, it's just been 100% in this space, and I am loving it. One of the reasons we started doing these DeFi spaces is because personally, it's for a selfish reason for me. It's because I see DeFi as kind of my next step in my crypto journey, and it's very important that I learn it and understand how these mechanisms works, these protocols work, so I can. Hey, what do we all want? We want yield, right? We want yield on our crypto. We want it now. A couple other rules. Please don't talk over other people. Let's keep it civil. These things can get excited and exciting, and people, can start talking over one another. If it gets too crazy, I will mute everybody, and then we'll just restart again. If the space gets rubbed, we will come back. So just meet us back here, and you all can see at the top of the space, this is being recorded. So if you have any issues with that, just be aware. And one thing that's amazing about this space today is our friend Bugsy, who's a member of the Salon DeFi community with a bunch of us here. He kind of brought these two communities together. So we're really stoked about that because NFTs and DeFi and crypto, it seems like it's drifting closer and closer together, right? Like they used to be very separate, and now they're coming together, especially, wait till Crypto Jesus starts blowing y'all's mind. Then you'll understand better. With that being said, I wanted to just introduce Crypto Jesus, also known as Max, and he is doxed. He is one of the co-founders of Solon DeFi. It's a automated market maker protocol, and we are waiting on our audit to happen with Trail of Bits, and we intend to go live midsummer. It's right in the middle of the summer. Keep an eye out for it. So, CJ, if you just wanted to say hi real quick, and then we'll throw it to Bugsy, and he can finish the intros.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to give a huge shout out to Bugsy for putting this together. Shout out to John for hosting, and Cryptonomics. It's nice to meet you, man. And Papa, thank you so much for popping out here. I know you didn't have to do that, so it's an absolute pleasure to have you. And yeah, thank you, guys.
Mr. Bugsy, what do you have for us, sir?
How's it going, everyone? Thank you for being here. First off, I kind of want to explain that this is not a duel to the death between communities. I've been trying for a while now to get Papa and Crypto Jesus together to talk DeFi. Things have just aligned, and the time is now. I know both these guys in real life, and I want us to come together and unite as one and learn and grow. So yesterday specifically, I had people ask me what SafeMoon was and if the moon is safe. And then I also heard in a SafeMoon space some confusion that came up when someone heard that NFTs can be used as concert tickets. That alone tells me that we are too divided, and we need to come together to understand this. So I want to first have Crypto Jesus and Papa kind of give a background of their time in the crypto world and what they've done in the past and what they're doing kind of currently, as much as you can speak to, Thomas. And then let these two kind of talk back and forth a little bit. I suggest everyone maybe get a pen and a piece of paper, take some notes, and then at some point we're going to open the floor. And I ask everyone to be respectful. You know, it's the middle of the day on a Saturday. These guys don't have to be here, but this is a huge deal for all of us to come together and learn kind of what the other side is. You know, the SafeMoon Army just received an award for being the strongest community surrounding a cryptocurrency, right? And I know people in the DeFi space here who are investing in nodes and staking and making hundreds or thousands of dollars a day. And I'm sure there's certain people in the SafeMoon Army that know nothing about that. So the ultimate goal here is to bring everyone together, kind of get an idea of what the whole DeFi space is, because believe it or not, SafeMoon is moving that direction. I mean, I've heard some theories and things that are going to be happening, and I don't know if it's true or not, but if it is, we need to come together and we need to get a grasp on what's going on and understand it and see how we can innovate it and keep it completely under our control before certain governments or corporations try to take it from us. So without further ado, Thomas, if you want to come up and say hi, and then I'll have Crypto Jesus kind of give a background, and then you can follow him with that.
Yeah, sure. It's exciting to be here. We're finally meeting Crypto Jesus and stuff. But, you know, obviously, huge shout out to Bugsy. We go way, way, way back. We were just kids, man. So this is pretty wild for me. So I think this is really cool. Glad to be here, and I love talking about this stuff. Talk about it all the time anyway. So totally normal. Hey, everybody. Awesome. Glad to be here.
Thank you, Papa. Do you prefer Papa or Thomas, by the way?
I think it's more preference. I've had so many people go, I'm not comfortable calling a grown man Papa. And sometimes I'm like, well, I mean, I guess if you really want to call me Daddy, you can do that. That's fine. No,
that's going to be like the ultimate pickup line.
Yeah.
So, my background, I have been working in the crypto space since 2016. I used to run a Bitcoin mining company. Well, it wasn't specifically Bitcoin, but mainly Bitcoin. And I worked on some predecessor algorithms to NiceHash, basically to help you mine the most efficient blockchain at any given point in time and convert it all into Bitcoin. This way you could mine whatever was making you the most amount of money with the least amount of expenses, and it would just convert everything into Bitcoin. Then I worked on some hardware to help ASIC miners. Their CPUs would drop cores like crazy because they would get so hot, and like you wouldn't believe it. Some spaces in my like warehouse space would get over 100 degrees, like 110 degrees plus while mining. So a huge thing in any mining facility is heat issues. So we created some temperature regulation circuits to basically calm down these miners when it was getting so hot that a core was about to drop to increase their efficiency. So I did that for a little bit. And between 2018 and 2020, things were kind of quiet, as we all know. And in the beginning of 2020, I left the mining industry to start kind of consulting. I worked with a few different cryptocurrencies and DeFi protocols to help them find value for their cryptocurrency. Because a huge problem in this space, and what a lot of people don't realize, is cryptocurrencies don't necessarily have value. There's indirect and direct value, but I was helping these companies find direct value for their cryptocurrencies because you could have the coolest, most innovative protocol in the world, but if you're not generating any protocol fees, then your token doesn't really necessarily have any value. So I kind of came in as a third party to help them figure out where they could add protocol fees or what to add to their ecosystems to increase the value of their cryptocurrency. So I did that for a little bit. And ever since February of 2021, I've been working full-time on Solon DeFi, which is basically the culmination of all my knowledge and research in the industry. And yeah, now I develop automated market makers with the CTO, Ben Blue.
Thanks, CJ. Thomas, could you give us a quick background bio?
Yeah, sure. Also, that was dope. Awesome. I love this stuff. I've been in crypto. I first got in 11 years ago, 2010. Heard about it on IRC, like a bunch of other people. Didn't take it seriously at first, but then it kind of went a certain direction. Started with mining in like 2013-ish. But then the dApps for me was more like 2015. I started forking MetaMask. I've been part of a number of projects. They're all on my LinkedIn, but just going to name a few of them. There was Halo Platform. It's like an all-in-one kind of crypto Web3 paradise with charts. There was Horde. It's kind of a very sleek wallet. Didn't go to market. Typical startup problems, right? And then, geez, man. Token Play presented at E3. Interesting stuff like that. So early, like in the 2018, I spent a lot of time doing game keys as NFTs and kicking back funds to developers. I think we were using Stellar Lumens at the time, which I thought was really cool. Like nobody was doing that. Probably the reason why we didn't take off. But hindsight's 2020, I guess. And then moving on, I was part of a number of R&D companies. One of them launched the Doge 1 to the Moon mission. It's the first satellite launch, or it hasn't launched yet, but it's the first launch lunar orbit satellite paid fully with Dogecoin. It's up on my GitHub, the original website, which actually is kind of funny. Is that caused a ton of drama between Dogecoin and IOTA. Which, weirdly enough, it's maybe a story for later on today, but yeah. And then shortly after that, I met John, and then shortly after that, SafeMoon happened. I'm skipping a lot of stuff because it's ridiculous, but there's too much to go into. I'm happy to talk about smaller subjects, but happy to be here. Sorry if I'm tired. I had kind of celebrated a little hard last night. Hit 100K.
Hell yeah! Congratulations, Thomas, on that.
Thank you.
Congrats, man.
Yeah, man. I was one of your new followers, dude. I helped put you over, man.
Hey, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hey,
man.
I wanted to add something also, and I totally forgot, and I'm sorry. Cryptonomics reached out to me and offered to co-host in the space, and I couldn't think of a better idea than to have people from each side of this possible, I guess you could call it a division. I couldn't think of a better idea than to have a host and co-host from each side. So that's why Cryptonomics is up here also. So he's part of the SafeMoon army. John Sims is part of the DeFi and Salon team and very involved in that side. So to have both of them up here was to kind of give like an equal look from everyone's perspective. That was my thought, at least.
Cool. And yeah, just to repeat, everybody, I do see the requests. We're keeping our speakers limited, and we intend to open it up a little bit later. We just wanted to get the conversation warmed up. And with that, Thomas, what do you like? As just for fun, like what is the funnest thing for you to do in the DeFi space? Like when you're looking to earn yield on your crypto, or is this even something you're into? Just curious.
Okay, yeah. So like, what do I do with regard to like how I'm trading? It's a little weird.
Exactly.
It's not financial advice, of course, but I'll tell you guys. Yeah, I mean, I'm like the reflections guy, right? I've always been a huge fan of it. So RFI mechanic is very interesting, in that simply by holding you can gain more, whether there's positive or negative volumes, because the transfer function is the value driver for this whole thing. It's like the engine that moves the whole thing forward, right? So I try to accumulate a lot of the reflection tokens, and I really love that. I'm seeing like a surgence of the ones that reflect in BUSD and wrap Bitcoin and wrap Ethers and all these really cool different ways to like utilize DeFi, right? It's kind of like a launch pad for my smaller trades and stuff. So I look into potentialities for projects, like just simple diligence stuff. But I might take it a little bit like to an unhealthy level because I know what roadmaps these guys should be, like what thresholds at what timings, what post-launch things, like what trials that these guys need to go through to have a successful project. So it is a lot of work running a project. It is asinine the amount of work that goes into it. But I mean, if you love, I always tell people love what you do. Otherwise, like definitely don't get into this if you don't love it. It's so much work. It's like managing expectations with exchanges, things like that. So if you can see that those people are prepared and knowledgeable or have access to that knowledge and are making those right steps, that's kind of what I do. And then I mostly focus on reflection tokens because passive yield, right? Frictionless yield where all you have to do is nothing. I'm not a big fan of staking. And I think that a lot of people will be, and I think there's definitely a place for staking. But as far as the reflection tokens go, I think I just shoot for a path of least resistance so I don't have to think about it so much.
I love that you don't like staking because people always ask me, hey, are we going to be able to stake the Solon token? I'm like, no, I prefer passive yield too, because that is an educational barrier to entry thing, right? So many people just don't even know how to stake, although to us it might be easy, but so many people don't know how to do it. So the people who are staking are sure they're earning their yield, they're getting a percent, but everyone else that doesn't know how to stake or isn't comfortable doing that, there are positions inflating every day. Which is absolutely not fair or right. That's why we're setting it up for our liquidity pools. Just by being in a pool, you automatically get, X amount of token per day, because it should be passive yield, it should be passive earn. And the first time I really saw like a cool implementation of that, like, was in meme tokenomics with Hodge. Actually, when I first saw Hodge, I was like, "Holy shit, this is really cool." But I didn't buy any because I was like, I don't really understand the value behind this token. And as soon as Hodge took off, then I understood. It's not necessarily the value in the token. The tokenomics are beautiful, right? They incentivize people being in there for the long term. But the real value there is in the community. And SafeMoon is like the perfect representation of that because, just like I believe it was John or Bugsy who just said, the SafeMoon army just won an award for being the strongest community. It's like going back to NFTs, right? So many people are like, I don't understand the value in NFTs, blah, 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 this, that. But anyone who's in the NFT market, which a lot of us in this chat are, understand that the largest value driver in any NFT collection is the value in its community. So I think it's really cool. I love what you guys did with SafeMoon. I loved your equation for adding liquidity. All these things are really cool. I really did think it was a cool, like I had never seen a metric like that because off the bat, my number one concern with a lot of these cryptocurrencies, like I hate to say it, Hodge kind of had a huge problem with this, is liquidity, right? Yeah. Because if there's no liquidity, then you can't buy or really sell your cryptocurrency, or the liquidity is just so low where every trade just affects the price of it so dramatically, where it's not fair to the individual.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. SafeMoon is a combination of two separate, really, really cool mechanics. Some people don't like swap and liquefy, and adding liquidity autonomously to a project on its own legs is a godsend. So what about the fee? It's like we discovered that the fee is not so bad. The fee is healthy for the whole ecosystem on a bunch of different levels. One, the earliest argument was it prevents too much arbitrage, right? Because things have to be a certain way. Prevents whale splashing because not unlike any other retirement savings account, right? There's a penalty, but the penalty is baked into transfer itself. It's very, very cool. So those two things together is that being able to refill your own liquidity and also reflections that go out, right? Automatic burn because the largest wallet is the burn wallet. It's dope.
I heard so many people complain about your fee, And then when you actually look into it, it's people hear that there's a fee and they think, oh, they're just taking all this money, blah, blah, blah. But they don't really take the time to look into it. They don't really take the time to learn about it. And that's understandable. There's always going to be a decent chunk of the population in any cryptocurrency or project that doesn't even really take the time to research it or understand it. They hear about it from a friend, blah, blah, blah. They hear people are making a ton of money. But when you really look into it, it 100% makes sense because of that 10% fee, half of it is going towards this pool for potential liquidity and its automated liquidity management. And the other half is going to, increasing your position and the burn mechanic. It's not like you guys are pocketing it. So I kind of had a question is who owns the liquidity?
I think that's the biggest gray area of them all, right? And I think to a degree, because if you look at the access keys, it's always been under from when we created the SafeMoon LLC, the organization, that sort of thing, right? Previously, it was held in a management contract through this company called Tano that I worked for, that I technically worked for the whole time. But the ownership of it, it's full custodianship, SafeMoon. SafeMoon owns it. And there are some arguments towards tax liability and some other really interesting things that I would leave to the lawyers, right? But ownership, I guess, rests with the keys. So that'd be SafeMoon, I think.
So have you guys thought about making a DAO and having the DAO own the liquidity position?
Yes, we did consider that at one point. But then what we noticed was an uptick of hires within the SEC and three-letter agencies geared towards trying to define what ownership is in a multi-sig or a DAO, which I think is really interesting. So John, I think what John was saying was we did want to put holders at risk, that sort of thing. He wanted to remain compliant within the structure that he had built. So I think that was the reasoning behind that one.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, though, you guys
that would be smart.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I mean, look at the UniSwap DAO, right? I think the key is your level of decentralization when you're working with regulation. If you're fairly close to completely decentralized, obviously you can't be perfect with things like team tokens and these other things. But if your liquidity is entirely out of your hand, it is a huge, huge, huge gray zone. But then it's the whole argument of if you put a gun to my head, I couldn't touch it if I wanted to.
Right. Yeah. It's impervious to the $5 wrench attack.
So me personally, I'm like all full DeFi degen. So I think everything should be owned and controlled by the DAO. And then if you're worried about gas fees, obviously you didn't have to worry about this on Binance Smart Chain, but on Ethereum, you could use Snapshot for decisions that don't involve financial. But everything financial wise, then you would vote on, or you could assign your votes to a delegate and you would have to pay a gas fee. But this way, it's up to the individuals, right? Everyone who holds the cryptocurrency, or in this case, SafeMoon, to decide what to do with the pool of funds you may have in excess fees, or how to manage this liquidity, or where to distribute the liquidity, or even making deals with centralized exchanges.
Right. I mean, I think a lot of any human structure could be organized with a DAO. Like corporate governance. And we don't see enough of that stuff. I think it's all very interesting. And then I think this is the big difference between what you would consider CeFi and DeFi, right? Or a centralized smart contract with centralized risk, right? I'll bring up just something that was in the Surgic contract, right? That centralized risk that a lot of people were talking about and trying to, I understand that the traditional DeFi ideology where everything should be decentralized because there's no head to cut off, right? No risk because the functions can't be abused. They're not available to any human, anyone, right? Could be available to the community, but to a degree with CeFi and I think the direction that SafeMoon is going with the tech company stuff, it's kind of like a trusted arbiter, right? And the holders choose to trust. That's each individual's decision, right? And then I think if you're looking at it from a complete risk-adverse perspective, that a DAO would be incredible. But it doesn't really fit into the business model of a lot of for-profit businesses and stuff.
Hey, I just wanted to jump in real quick, CJ, and just welcome everybody. to the space. It looks like we got about 1,500 people in here. Definitely tweet it out so we can get even more in here to hear these guys chop it up. It's been so fun, and it's actually it's already going over my head. So if you're like me, don't worry. And if all y'all that are already up here speaking, if there's a point you'd like to jump in, please throw up your hand, and we'll get to you as soon as the conversation allows. But I just wanted to clarify two things, just for me personally. Thomas, you used two terms that I am not familiar with. The first one was reflective tokens, and the next one was whale splashing. Can you explain those two things, please?
Oh, I think I meant reflection tokens. These are just tokens with the RFI code that do reflections, like SafeMoon, a number of others. I've been talking to Tech. Shout out, man. We had an awesome conversation. Yeah, so it's just by way of the volume, it will distribute tokens of itself or a like kind. And then whale splashing is when a whale sells. They're splashing around, right? They're moving their money. It's what money does. It'll slosh around the space back and forth. That's why we have an alt season, right? So one of the early things we thought of was, okay, let us find a way to describe this to people in a way that is comfortable for people to understand. Instead of just saying, oh, the big holders are gonna dump their stuff. It's gonna be awful, right? So we call it whale splashing. It's a little less like crazy, because we don't want to use language that's gonna scare people. That this stuff happens all the time, right? It's all about choice of language, I guess.
Thomas, I have a question. So in V2, with your burn mechanism, since you already have such a large burn address, so much SafeMoon token burned, did you guys consider just getting rid of the burn mechanism and using token reflection, because that pool is going to increase naturally?
No, yeah, I mean, with the consolidation, it would make, like, one of the things that I was thinking about with the team was just straight up turning off the burn. Just making it exempt the reward, so that 40% more reflections will go out. Number one, it's just, we're going to consolidate anyway to reduce the supply. What's the point of the burn? And I know that, like, the deflationary aspect of it is extremely popular. At a certain point, you got to stop burning. And then also at a certain point, with the blockchain coming out, you're going to have two separate supplies. I mean, it would be extremely difficult to unify the supply of the token and the blockchain without doing like a full migration to it, which I don't think is, like, personally, I don't think that's a good move. But that's my own speculation. I don't know what they're going to do.
Hey, can I jump in here for a second?
Hell yeah, Bugsy.
I just want to say, let's fucking go, because I have yet to see one person ask those kinds of fucking questions to Papa, and he is begging for them. Begging for them.
Dude.
So,
yeah.
Oh, Papa, I'm just skimming the surface. Just you wait.
Let's get it.
That's why I brought these.
All right, and I do want to say one thing as well, because I did realize that CJ is asking a lot of the questions regarding SafeMoon. And we want to put a disclaimer there, because majority of us know that Thomas is currently not in the SafeMoon team, but he's speaking on behalf of his knowledge. So just a disclaimer out there.
Yeah. I'm not representing SafeMoon here, but I just can answer all of the questions with regard to SafeMoon.
Yeah. So I'd like this conversation to mainly be about Thomas.
Hey, that's
basically,
cool.
I'm going to ask him a few SafeMoon related questions to kind of see how he thinks. And then from there, I'm just going to dig into what you love, what you're researching, what you're passionate about in the industry. But I guess I had another question pertaining to SafeMoon. Some of these questions just go out to a lot of the audience doesn't even really know too much about SafeMoon. Okay. Because a lot come from the NFT side. And even some of the SafeMoon army, I'm sure, may not even have a full grasp of what V2 is really going to bring. So another question I had for you is, so on your website, you currently have a swap. Is that a fancy UI wrapped around a current decentralized exchange, or is that your own?
That is a fancy UI that is a wrapper on multiple AMMs and SafeMoon's AMM.
Okay. So SafeMoon's automated market maker. do you have a fee on your automated market maker, like a regular 0.1, 0.3, or 1% fee, just like Uniswap?
From what I understand, it, and Hank built this out, so he might be a better person to ask. But from what I understand, there's a fee. Yeah, very small, not unlike any other AMM.
So my question, I think this is a great idea. I guess a lot of us saw Shiba Inu do the same thing, but those fees go to give the token more value. For everyone in the audience, that fee that we're talking about is essentially every time someone trades one cryptocurrency for another, they take a tiny, tiny fee, and then they start building this pile of cash, this treasury, which potentially could add more value to the SafeMoon token. So my question is, the fees taken in the decentralized exchange, where do they go?
That's a great question. It's actually a question that I definitely don't have an answer to. That'd be another Hank question, but even then, I'm not even sure he knows.
Yeah, because that's where I could really see you guys using a DAO, right?
That'd be one for that'd be a question for John, or one of the next AMAs. So I never dealt with any of like the money stuff beyond the contract.
I love your contract, by the way. It's so clean. It's one of the cleanest contracts I've ever seen.
It's it definitely needs some love. That's what you do as well. Like if you look at the deliver function, right? You'll find that it doesn't resolve. It just checks something and doesn't do anything.
Hey, you never know when you're going to need that function.
So, I mean, there's some stuff that we fixed and we pulled out. It's a very positive experience. So, yeah.
Squirtle, what's up?
Yo, what's going on? I was looking for opinions on this question. So, with AMMs that collect fees and then put it into a DAO, right? Like you look at a model, this would kind of be Uniswap, where the fees go into a treasury and then the DAO votes on how to spend the fees within the community. They sponsor projects, podcasts, whatever, right? What we're seeing is like these treasuries just have an obscene amount of money, and very large holders of the token can sway how to use that money, which we saw with like I think it was like a fake learning course, like learning material course that came out, and it ended up being nothing from the Uniswap DAO. Like what do we think the optimal way to use these ginormous treasuries is within a DAO? Like how do we organize it so these funds are used in a way that can't be manipulated, or do we just take the slight manipulation with the territory of being decentralized? Hope that made sense. That wasn't too much of a ramble.
To be honest, I think Papa has a really good answer to that. I think they should introduce fee mechanics because it prevents whale activity. Another thing they can do is you can introduce all sorts of mechanics in 70% vote in favor or minimum vote requirements to kind of filter whales out. But what you're really trying to do here is you want to make it so it's going to cost these whales more money than they could ever make by doing anything malicious. And that's the key, because it's a direct disincentivization. But, there's always going to be the possibility. And that's where I think Vitalik Buterin's article on proof of humanity is super cool. Yet we have yet to see a good implementation of a proof of humanity structure. So when someone can actually figure that out, which obviously we're innovating every single day in this space, that will be amazing. But until then, I think we're just going to have to rely on mechanics that make it more difficult for whales to manipulate.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I do think like current DAO structures, like we're just in that caveman stage right now. Like in a couple of years, the way DAOs operate are going to be completely different. I'm really stoked to see like what all these projects can do with these ginormous treasuries from these fees that are being collected. And I just kind of hope like we don't get blocked by regulation stuff. But it's exciting, the amount of money that's there to build stuff, because there's a lot of people that want to build, and there's not a lot of developers in the space yet. So
yeah, the Uniswap treasury I think is like $3 billion or something ridiculous.
Whoa.
I know, isn't that insane, Thomas? It's larger than the market cap of SafeMoon, and they just have cash. Every once in a while they just pay out some bounties, or they like do sponsorships and ads, or like they actually do some really cool stuff. They like incentivize like projects for young girls trying to learn Solidity and things like that. But they have yet to really be like, hey, we have billions of dollars. What can we do that's really going to be innovative with this money? Because I guess UniSwap at the end of the day is all about user friendliness, simple UI, blah, blah, blah. But they could do so much with $3 billion. Maybe they're worried about regulation. I don't know.
Oh, that would be, the biggest worry of anyone who's huge, right? Because they were just looked into or investigated, right?
I think the SEC was it.
This could be very.
They were literally like, hand us some documentation to go. They wanted like all their expenses on everything, like line by line. They're like, we're trying to learn about DAOs, and of course, UniSwap was about to say no.
Yeah, right.
Now, I just want to add one more note to that real quick, because that wouldn't necessarily be regulation against UniSwap, the company that controls the front end, because all the fees and the vault is in the actual protocol, which is separate from the UniSwap team. So
that's
maybe
the scary thing though, Squirtle, because they're starting to talk about maybe going after creators, because obviously you can't go after a DAO, but it's all just gray, like pure gray.
That would suck. Okay.
I think there's also just like a volume of people you have to like even execute on, $3 billion going to the right causes, whatever they may be. And there's a very delicate balance of like, who do you allow in there? And then how are those people allowed deeper into the DAO, so to speak? So is it just because they have more volume of it? Are there other indicators that make them valuable within the network? That, is expertise, does it play a part at all? And if it doesn't, how does that affect the decision making? So I think a lot of people and a lot of networks are really just trying to find exactly what the smash out the park market fit thing is before they start executing under those dollars, because it's going to be under so much scrutiny. I mean, even now, like people knowing the exact amount and like who's asking about it. Like, so I can imagine like some trigger hesitance if you're one of the few people who are over that.
To be honest, I think Uniswap's messed up a little bit, and they should implement their structure the opposite of what they currently do. Because the way they do it right now is they'll put up some bounties. They're like, hey, if you do this code, we'll pay you this amount of money. It should be the opposite. They should be fostering innovation instead. They have $3 billion. Instead, they should create a forum in which anyone can post their work, code, development, new innovations in the industry, and then the DAO can vote on this work. And then they'll pay the person to integrate their new code or marketing or art or whatever it is into Uniswap's ecosystem. That's where I think they should go, but they aren't currently. It's just my opinion.
But yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I'm thinking is that, but then from a practical standpoint, it's like, how do you decide when someone puts up something? Is like anyone who puts it up, it's like they're all valid ideas. And like, what would be the volume of ideas that Uniswap would get in? And then who would decide, like from an investor standpoint, you usually like look at the founders and see if they have credible track record. And, it's kind of a lot harder to do that. Especially when even some very qualified people could be anonymous. And I mean, I'd like to know, so in that kind of scenario, do you just imagine all of the proposals that exist will get filtered up to this small group of people who will then choose certain ones to let in, or like the entire DAO just will always have it? Because I mean, from a mechanical standpoint, that's part of the thing that interests me, is like, how do you actually implement it from a person to idea to integration standpoint?
I think the whole anonymous factor is a beautiful part of this industry, because if you're not anonymous and people know who you are, that opens the room for discrimination. And I think that's something we're really trying to get rid of in the space. And that's why I think the model that I was just talking about is really the best, because people are then only the only metric you're measured on is the quality of your work. And in an ideal world, that's how it should be. But the world we live in today, we can see what people look like. We can hear what their voice, you can tell if they're a guy or girl, blah, 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 you name it. And then that's always going to introduce some sort of bias, whether conscious or subconscious. So I think this metric is honestly a very futuristic way to go.
For sure.
Bugsy, what's up? Bugsy, what you got, sir?
No, I wanted to throw it out there before we get too far. Also, CJ, I've told Thomas about Salon and what you've done with impermanent loss, and he finds that very interesting. But we've never really had a discussion about Salon, and I'm sure a lot of people here who don't know about NFTs or vice versa. Maybe you can explain what it is that you're doing and why Salon is so big, because I just want people to understand that and really know that. I want them to know how much more there is to this DeFi space and what you're specifically doing that's going to change a lot of things.
So this goes back to what Thomas and I were talking about before. With there's always problems with liquidity everywhere you look, and the reason why SafeMoon is providing the liquidity themselves is because no one else wants to. You are going to have some people that provide the liquidity, but the reason why no one else really wants to provide that liquidity is because of impermanent loss. Basically, the price of SafeMoon fluctuates so dramatically compared to the price of Ethereum, where it causes these people, the people providing liquidity so users can trade, to lose a lot of money. So right away, people are like, there's not a lot of reason for them to go and provide liquidity for a cryptocurrency like SafeMoon or any other, more volatile cryptocurrency or low market cap cryptocurrencies. So the reason why our metric that allows the liquidity provider to eliminate impermanent loss is huge is especially for cryptocurrencies that have a lot of volatility, or cryptocurrencies that are extremely low market cap, which obviously have a lot of volatility. But let's say you're a new creator and an innovator and you don't have a lot of money to create all this liquidity for your new cryptocurrency, yet you want to make a difference in the world. You shouldn't be shunted because you don't have the capital to make it happen. Instead, because of our ecosystem and how it allows the liquidity provider to have no impermanent loss, you can, as a new creator, provide the liquidity for your cryptocurrency without losing thousands and thousands of dollars. You retain the exact same value. So this way, you can actually create a position so people can buy your cryptocurrency in the first place, buy, trade, and sell without losing any money. And that's where it's really huge on the impermanent loss side. But the Solon ecosystem is much, much, much larger than that. We like to call ourselves the world's first network of decentralized hedge funds. And the reason that is because we've created an equation for concentrated liquidity with an nth dimensional value function. What that means is, for the first time, when you're providing liquidity, essentially like when you're creating a position so people can swap one cryptocurrency for another, on UniSwap, for example, you can do that with two cryptocurrencies in a 50-50 pairing, and you have your normal and permanent loss. The problem with that is obviously the impermanent loss factor, and you can only do two at a time. Balancer did something really, really cool when they introduced an equation. Yes, you love Balancer. I love Balancer. So Balancer did something really dope when they introduced this equation for an nth dimensional value function. What that means is, for the first time, when you're providing liquidity, you're not just stuck with these two different cryptocurrencies. You can do up to 16. It was originally up to 16. Now it's 32. And the main reason why they limit that, by the way, is just because Ethereum gas fees are so high, and it raises your gas level quite dramatically. But on layer 2, you could potentially do close to infinite, wouldn't really cost you too much. So we created the world's first equation for concentrated liquidity with an nth dimensional value function. What that means is UniSwap in their V3 came up with their most innovative feature, which is concentrated liquidity. What concentrated liquidity allows you to do is it allows you to select a price range in which you're providing your liquidity. So for the first time, it kind of allows you to set like a stop loss, because let's say you're pairing Ethereum with another cryptocurrency. In theory, if that other cryptocurrency went to $0, then it doesn't matter how much Ethereum you had paired with it. It is all now worthless because it's paired with an asset that is worthless. So that was a problem there. And also, people didn't want to have a dramatic amount of impermanent loss if one cryptocurrency mooned and the other one stayed stable. So what UniSwap introduced was concentrated liquidity. It allows you to concentrate your liquidity. So essentially, you can select the price range of each asset for which you're providing liquidity. So you could do between the value of Ethereum being $1,000 and $5,000 instead of $0 to infinity dollars. And that allows you to dramatically reduce the risk of impermanent loss if you think it's going to be extremely volatile. But at the same time, you're concentrating your liquidity. So instead of spreading all your money out between $0 and infinite dollars, you're actually just keeping it in that $1,000 to $5,000 range. So you're getting like 3 times the fees or whatever it is, but you're also getting like 3 times the impermanent loss. So that's the risk there. So we introduced an equation for concentrated liquidity with an nth dimensional value function. So for the first time, you can have concentrated liquidity, that thing that allows you to kind of set up a stop loss and allows you to maximize your fees in a certain area with an nth dimensional value function. So you can do it with, for the first time, not only 2 different cryptocurrencies, but actually up to 2,000 different cryptocurrencies. So this is all these metrics together allowed us to create the world's first network of decentralized hedge funds. So basically, anyone in the world can go and set up a liquidity pool in our ecosystem for free. They can select whatever cryptocurrencies they want, and they can control the level of impermanent loss on the fly, all live, and the concentration of each asset. So, for example, I could have and create a liquidity pool with 10% Ethereum, 5% US dollar coin, 20% SafeMoon, 30% Doge, et cetera, et cetera. And you get to choose the weight and how many assets you want. So why is it the world's first network of decentralized hedge funds? Well, for the first time, let's say you make millions of dollars or have a great rate of return on managing liquidity, or you're just a great cryptocurrency investor. You make a shit ton of money by investing in cryptocurrencies, or you're a great NFT investor. You make a shit ton of money by investing in NFTs. For the first time ever, these people can not only make money managing their own capital like they normally would, but they can also make money doing it for other people. So what happens is they create their own liquidity pool. They select all the assets they want and their level of impermanent loss. They could always just keep it at 0% impermanent loss. So it's like you're investing in the underlying assets, which this is the hedge fund model. So you select all the assets you want, all the cryptocurrencies you think are going to do well, and then anyone in the world can deposit money into that pool. They don't manage it. It's managed by that person. And all the money is secured by smart contracts. They're just directing where your funds go. And essentially, you get the same return on investment as Gary Vee or whoever else is managing this pool or function, blah, 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 you name it. People who make a good return on investment, you get the exact same rate of return as they do, and you don't have to do a thing. They manage the pool, and you can cash your position out whenever you want. Well, what's in it for them? 1, they don't have to do any extra work. And 2, they can collect a fee off your profits. So they could do 10% of whatever you make when you cash out, or 20% or 30%. You agree to that as the user when you enter their pool. On top of that, we also had a decentralized marketplace for NFTs with a 0% fee. How do we make money? Well, we also have fractional NFTs. I'll get to that in 1 second. But OpenSea, for example, has a 2.5% fee. Shoyu, SushiSwap's marketplace, has a 3 to 5.5% fee. We have a 0% fee, which means there's more room for artists to make money. What else is great about our ecosystem is we've created the world's first rentable and mortgageable NFTs. We've deviated from an Ethereum protocol standard EIP 2615 to create rentable and mortgageable NFTs. So now you can rent out an NFT without the need for any collateral. The way it works is, let's say I have a VFriend, and this VFriend gets me access to VCon for 3 years in a row. But I can't attend VCon this year. My options are I sell my VFriend, or I hodl it and I just don't go to VCon. Instead, you can rent out your VFriend to some random person that wants to go to VCon but can't afford to buy a whole VFriend, which is like 10 Ethereum. And it's their ticket. So you rent it out to them for, let's say, 2 Ethereum. You make an income off your NFT, and they get to go to the conference. So the first time you can start making a sustainable income off your non-fungible tokens without having to sell them to realize gains. And the way the function works is when the rental period is over, it's automatically withdrawn from whatever wallet address it's in. So that same user, let's say it's a parking space. You could, if the parking space was an NFT, the owner could rent it out to you for 24 hours. Let's say you wanted to rent a space in Miami Beach for 24 hours, but you only use it for 12. you could rent out the remaining 12 hours to someone else. Doesn't matter where it is. It's automatically withdrawn from wherever wallet it's in and sent back to the user when the rental period's over. No need for collateral or anything like that. The mortgage function is also super, super cool. Basically, what it allows you to do is for the first time, you could buy like a Bored Ape, which is, let's say, 40 Ethereum. Not a lot of people can afford that. So you could buy a Bored Ape for 40 Ethereum, but you can start by putting half an Ethereum down and you pay monthly. The way this function works is similar to the rental function. Essentially, if you miss a payment, then you have X amount of time before the NFT is automatically taken out of your account and would sent back to the original owner. And if you had paid up to a certain amount, you get all your money back. Every dollar back you get if it's the NFTs returned to the user. The owner is allowed to introduce a fee because obviously there's a time lockup in which they don't have their NFT, but the user has this NFT. It's just like you own it, except you got to pay monthly until you pay it off. So to wrap all the, and we also have fractional NFTs. So you could buy into a collection like the Bored Ape Yacht Club, value-wise, not utility, for like 0.1 Ethereum or 0.01 Ethereum to get the same rate of return. And that's where we make fees in the decentralized marketplace, because these fractional NFTs are actually represented by ERC20s, cryptocurrencies. You send this NFT into a smart contract, it returns X amount of tokens to represent that NFT. You can cash those tokens in to get the NFT back. But what this does is it allows you to create a liquid market for something that is normally not liquid, right? You need to wait for a buyer to sell your NFT. Now it's completely liquid. It's a cryptocurrency, just like trading on UniSwap. And every time this fractional NFT is traded, we collect a fee in our decentralized exchange, 0.1, 0.3, or 1%. We also collect fees every time someone wants to swap one cryptocurrency for another. And people can also pay for any NFT in our marketplace with any cryptocurrency they want to pay in. And basically the way it works is the person selling it decides which cryptocurrency they want to accept payment in. So let's say I want to buy an NFT for UniSwap token, but the seller only wants Ethereum. I pay for it in UniSwap token, then that UniSwap token goes through a decentralized exchange, it's automatically converted into Ethereum, and then the Ethereum goes to the original owner's wallet address. So this way you can pay in any currency too. This is where we make fees every time something goes through our decentralized exchange. Then to tie everything together, we've created a hardware wallet where essentially anyone in the world can purchase this device. They scroll through our ecosystem. Let's say you want to buy an NFT. You scroll through the marketplace, select whatever NFT you want to buy, tap your card. That's it. You own it. That easy. Same thing with cryptocurrency. Let's say you want to invest in a cryptocurrency. You go through our exchange. You select whatever cryptocurrency you want, how much of your local currency you want to buy of it. You tap your card. That's it. Let's say you don't know anything about cryptocurrency. You have your card, you buy one of our devices. You don't know which cryptocurrency is good to buy. You don't know which NFT is good to buy. You don't even know how to buy cryptocurrency in the first place. For the first time, you can just scroll through our fund ecosystem, select a Solon pool or a fund with a good return on investment that's relatively safe. All these metrics are out there. You decide what you want. Let's say you pick the one with the best return on investment. You select it. You select how much of your local currency you want to deposit into it, automatically converted, goes in, and you can just take it out whenever you want, your local currency.
Mind-blowing. Hey, I just wanted to take a moment to pause and just reintroduce everybody to the room. We're talking with Crypto Jesus and Thomas, and they are, well, I don't know how else to say it, but they're just two very brilliant young men, and they are very, deep into the crypto and NFT and DeFi space. So really, this is a conversation between, we just wanted to get those two guys into the same space, y'all. But we do see all the hands up. Let's go. And Thomas, I definitely want to get, if you were able to digest what Crypto Jesus dropped in your lap, which I'm sure you're able, I'd love to get some of your feedback on that. But Bugsy, you had a comment.
Yeah, I just wanted to say thanks, CJ and Thomas. I was going to explain it just like that, word for word. I swear to God.
I knew it, Bugsy.
So if you all could just share the space out. And if you're up as a speaker, we'd love to see your hand up if you'd like to chime in. And you all that have requested, guys, we have over 15 requests. So please be patient and we'll get to as many of you as possible.
I worry that I don't have a too much terrible amount of time today. I only have an hour.
Oh, Thomas, please. The fact that you're here in the first place is more than enough. Like,
I'm
whenever
excited.
you need to leave, just go.
Look, so I do want to say this though, and I apologize for hijacking the flow of things. Everything that you just said was so fucking healthy. Solving impermanent loss, it's like one of the biggest challenges for really everyone who wants to provide liquidity to anything. So I'm very excited. This is really cool. I'm gonna have to do something over there. Just like,
Yo, thank you so much.
somehow I'm gonna
By the
figure it
way,
on it. Yeah.
Thomas, if you have any questions, like if you want to learn specifically how something works, just like hit me up. I'll tell you like any question.
Of course.
I'll answer it. Like if
I
you
think-
want to know how we do the impermanent loss thing, I'll tell you, and you'll get it
Yo,
instantly. It's
all-
as you know, there's just so many things in this industry that like people have yet to do that are
course.
just everything's out there.
There's so many more mechanics that we can combine, and what I think is really interesting with everything that we're doing right now is just so open and available to innovate on, right? You can see this in the SafeMoon contract where we're combining different mechanics from several different projects to make this breathing project. You know, it's advancing. There's so many forks, right? So I'm so fucking hyped right now, guys. This is awesome. So what I think we gotta hang out. Just Bugsy, let's set it up. Let's just
Hell yeah, man. I'll go to New Hampshire any day of the week. I live like 10 minutes away from Bugsy.
Oh man. All right. So both of you guys gotta come up. So we'll figure that out. That's gonna be amazing.
Casey, before you go, I just wanted to ask CJ regarding the renting. Now, are the renting wallets blacklisted so they cannot transfer and make transactions?
No, we encourage them to transfer the NFTs because, like I was just saying, it creates a market where, let's say, you rent something for 24 hours and only use it for 12. You can rent it out for the remaining 12 hours, or you could just give it out for free for the remaining 12 hours. It doesn't matter because you paid for 24 hours. So it doesn't matter where it is. It could be in any wallet in the world, even in a burn wallet address. It is automatically taken out of that wallet address and sent back to the original owner when the rental period is over.
Yeah, no, I'm asking if a person like rents it out and he didn't pay the full price, but he just rented and then sends it out to someone else. Are they able to do that, or are those wallets blacklisted?
You have to pay the full price right away. Like you have to, whatever the rental price is, you pay that initially, and then you get the access to the NFT and its utility.
Okay, thank you.
What's up, Thomas? Oh, actually, Casey has had his hand up for a while.
Oh, yes, no problem.
So, what's up, Casey?
Hey, what's up? I'm sorry, I completely forgot to introduce myself earlier. I just wanted to thank you, CJ, for inviting me to be a panelist.
Thanks for coming.
I have to know, right? Like listening to this back and forth between you and Thomas. Obviously, you know, token economics are huge right now. You have very rich people paying a lot of money, universities trying to figure all this stuff out. And you know, here I'm listening to you two. You guys are just so advanced, right? With this space and with token economics with DeFi. Like, how did you get to that point? Because I know so many. You know, like, what's your secret? Because I'm sure everyone in the audience just wants to know. They're listening to this back and forth, and they're like, this is way over my head. And how did you guys get so advanced with token economics and everything? Like, I'm just curious.
I think, and perhaps anyone at this level will agree. It's that any mastery would be obtained the hard way, right? We haven't reached that yet because we know what we don't know. And so every single day is just yet another day. We eat this stuff for breakfast every day, no days off. You know, we dig through the docs to find new interesting ways to use these networks that have been made available to us. So it's in part enthusiasm and part extreme hard work. It's like once you leave your normal job to come work in crypto full time, you don't get days off anymore. It's over. You know, you work from home, you sick, still working, you know, snow's 6 feet high. You know, the mechanics are still there, always. So I think for me, that's what it was.
I am 100% in agreement. For me, it's just like I am personally passionate about this. This is what I know I will be doing for the rest of my life. I enjoy my work. I love my work. Like I wake up in the morning, immediately I'm on my phone, right? Like I'm looking for new innovative protocols. I'm going through Twitter looking for news, blah, 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 you name it. But it's not like it feels like work. It is generally like my Netflix, right? Like I enjoy doing this. And at the same time, I get paid to do it. I feel blessed. Every day I do this, I feel blessed that I am passionate about this, that I found my passion. And honestly, the main way I learn is you guys might think we sound like we know a lot, but we know nothing. No one knows anything. There is so little that we have yet to accomplish in the world of blockchain and decentralized finance. We are I will say this every day, we are in the light bulb stage. You know, Bitcoin was the discovery of electricity. Ethereum and the implementation of smart contracts was the creation of the generator. Now we have a constant supply of electricity. And for the first time, someone just invented the light bulb. We have light. And that's where we are. We are so infant. It is incredible. Every day I read about a new protocol or a new innovating technology or a new way of using tokenomics, and my mind is blown. Right? When the Olympus DAO protocol came out, there have been a few major innovators for me in the industry. The first one right off the back was Bancor. Then it was UniSwap. Then it was the Maker DAO. And then the most recent one for me, which I was shocked by, I love it, it's genius, is Olympus. Is the Olympus protocol.
Baby.
Yeah, 100%. Ohm is an innovator. They created new technology in the industry. That's the thing. They just took smart contracts and you created a new implementation for them. And that's happening every day. Every single day, people are coming up with new equations. And that's all a smart contract is at the end of the day. It's just an equation. People are coming up with new equations to do new things that have never been done before. And it happens every day. And that's the stage we're in. And I couldn't be happier to be alive in this time, or feel more fortunate to be alive in this time. Because if you thought the .com era was a revolution, this is the revolution of revolutions. We're revolutionizing not the way we interact with things, but an understanding, a fundamental that has been there since the creation of humanity, currency. We just innovated. But not only did we take currency to the next level, we're using it as a building block for all infrastructure in the world. So I just feel so fortunate. And the best way I learn is just I read, I observe, and I step outside of my comfort zone. That's the biggest thing. A lot of things you're like, I'm not sure if this has value. I don't understand this technology, blah, blah, blah. Interact with it. Take the time to learn it. Expose yourself to it. Even if you think it's a scam, blah, 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 whatever you name it, learn about it, because some things will shock you.
Hey, CJ, I just wanted to pop in. I know Thomas said he has to get going soon, but Thomas, I just had this quote from you as a tweet you put out a few days ago. It says, if the Tau is great, then the operating system is great. If the operating system is great, then the compiler is great. If the compiler is great, then the application is great. The user is pleased, and there is harmony in the world.
Man.
Tell us what you mean, what you mean by that. I just think it's a beautiful tweet, man.
That tweet and the two tweets that are after it are kind of my nod to 3 amazing documents that have come out. It's just kind of like a. I think it's so cool you brought this up, because then we can talk about this really quick. So that's from the Tao of Programming. So if you look that up, it's a collection of really funny programming texts, and that just meant a lot to me. And then the tweet following that one, that one's from the Cypherpunk manifesto. The one after that is from the Hacker manifesto. So these documents are formative in what we do today, with what John McAfee said was the greatest achievement in human history since agriculture. Now look at what we're doing to money. This is insane, in such a good way.
Yeah, that's why I was, of course, like a lot of y'all, I was talking to my family about it, and it just doesn't register, man. And it's because of that. It's a fundamental change in how you think about money.
Yeah.
Do you all worry?
I've got to get running.
Thank you so much, Thomas. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Thomas. We really appreciate you coming out here, man. I can't wait till the next time I get to speak with you, but it was a real pleasure.
Absolutely. I'm enamored by all of this. I love you guys. Thank you so much for this experience. Like, we're on this road together. Like, fuck yeah, let's go.
Hell yeah, bro.
Let's fucking go.
I just wanted to say, on Thanksgiving, I talked to my brother a little bit. I talked to my whole family about this, and a lot of people were scratching their heads and very confused, but very bullish on it. And my younger brother did create a Twitter account. He's sitting down in the crowd learning about all this stuff, probably drooling at this point. He's scheming 92 down there, no profile picture, but yeah, if you guys could show him some love. I'm sure he has no idea what SafeMoon is. Probably would love to learn how to get into that. Probably needs information about NFTs. Anybody with knowledge that wants to help him out. You could probably do it a lot better than I can. I got a lot going on, so thank you to anyone.
Yeah, and that kind of just goes for everybody, right? Like we did bring two communities together today, and so when you look next to your profile picture and you see that other avatar, click into that profile and check them out, give them a follow. This is how we are. Like, the purpose of this was to grow the community and move ideas forward, and I think we've done that. I think we've done a lot introduced a lot of interesting stuff to new people, which is amazing. So yeah, definitely follow and be followed.
Have a good one, guys. I gotta go.
You too, Papa. Thank you very much.
Saw we got the Virtunaut joined us, CJ.
Who joined us? The Virtunaut? Nice to meet you.
Hey, what's up? Hold on, let me plug in these headphones. I can hear you. What's going on, everybody?
GM.
So yeah, I've got.
How's it going?
Hey, it's going all right. Yeah, I've got a question. So yeah, I'm super inspired by some of the stuff you guys are talking about, and some of the stuff earlier about, hey, there's like tons of money in the space, and I think the question is like, what do we do with it? And I think that's like a question that a lot of human beings kind of struggle with, right? Like, there's plenty of people out in the world, even artists, right, that compile a ton of money and don't necessarily know what to do with it. So it kind of just sits there. And I think that the future of economy is actually designing a currency where the mechanics of the currency facilitate what we believe is a healthy economy. So like, normally our money, we spend it and we treat it kind of like nuts, and we're like a bunch of squirrels. And like, we have the idea that, hey, I got to like collect all these nuts and have it sit somewhere because at some point I might not be able to work. And I think that's fundamentally needs to change. So like, the design of the currency itself can, like, you imagine like a plant, right? If all the cells that are getting nutrients from the roots decided just to hold on to all the nutrients and never like recycle them or send them back, like nothing would happen, right? Everything needs to kind of be in flow. So I think, just like a lot of other mechanical design that's inspired by biology, we can look at biological systems as inspiration for currency and like nutrient distribution between an organism. And so like, you could have coins that if they sit somewhere for too long, they actually like lose value or something changes about them. So they need to actually be spent and they like get regenerated. So there's like lots of really interesting mechanics around the currency itself that can facilitate what we believe is a healthy economy. Because I don't think we need to get into a position where it's like, all right, we just collect and make a fucking number and a machine grow. Great. Like, who cares? At some point, I hope we get to a point where we're post-scarcity, post-money, post-having to care about money, and really, like, there are funds for, like, the giant superorganism that is humanity that get directed into, like, what the superorganism believes needs to be done. It's like, hey, we've got, like, these communication structures, like, Facebook and the internet. Like, how do we actually take control of those, make them open, and, like, utilize them for, like, the benefit of the whole planet? To me, there's so much money in this stuff, and like there's all these closed systems like Facebook designing their own metaverse, and everyone always throws the term metaverse around so willy-nilly, and like no one really understands. Like, we're building like a piece of the metaverse, and all these other teams right now in the crypto space want to build their own quote-unquote metaverse, but like there are like the Web3 consortium and stuff and hardware consortiums for how things and computers and networks can work together. I don't know if there's something for, hey, like, is there like a metaverse consortium? Because I think there needs to be some sort of like agreement on how all this stuff's going to communicate. And so if there isn't, I'd love to talk to some people who want to help set that up, create a voice to like push for this stuff. But like the idea is that like whatever metaverse this is, like it's not really even a metaverse. It's like the evolution of intelligent life in the universe, right? Like enough with like the capitalistic bullshit perspective of the metaverse. I don't care if it's a fucking $1 trillion industry. It's like the evolution of space-time. It's the evolution of intelligent life in the universe. And it's like, something informationally important. So yeah, anyway, just tons of inspiration from you guys. And I'm like looking forward to like, how do we build a metaverse openly and like create a really public forum and discourse around it and utilize funds from a DAO to make that a reality and like give a voice to everyone and like almost like a, because no one's going to want their interface to be the same, right? Like imagine like being in like getting a message. Like I can build a system where like, you build an underlying system where it's like, okay, user A receives a message from user B, but user A might want like a fucking carrier pigeon flying through their window, delivering a little like scroll. Whereas like another user might want a flower blooming up from the ground that, has the message in it. And so I think the most important thing to building any sort of metaverse is to like understand what is the fundamental communication structure. And then you let artists and designers build and give like solidity and give physicality to those underlying systems. And like you can, maybe my desktop is me sitting on a beach and a bunch of stones around me, and all the stones are like my applications. It could be whatever, right? So I think that there needs to be a way for us to build this thing, in the right way. Because I look at all these like applications from these big companies, and I kind of just think they suck. And that's it. That's my brand.
Yo, I love the whole bioorganism thing. I think it's a really cool outlook. And the way you ideally wanted to design any DeFi ecosystem or anything interacting with a DAO is that every part of the ecosystem feeds into each other. And that's how you generate like the most value in an ecosystem, in my opinion. And that's obviously the reason why I design my ecosystem that way. But before we close this space out, or before we get close to an end, I'd just like to thank everyone very much. This has been a great time. This has been an amazing space. Our mint has gone amazing, and now there's only 360 of our NFTs left. So I appreciate you all, and I can't wait for July 1st, the official release date of the protocol. Our audit starts on May 9th with Trail of Bits, and I'm just thrilled. I'm excited. My dream is coming to fruition.
Yeah, in case you all missed that, CJ and Ben put out a NFT. So I posted the link up top, and I see CJ just added another link. So you can find those AI artworks on the Salon site.
Basically, they're also artificial intelligence artworks, but we wanted to create new innovative utility for NFTs. So these NFTs not only get you, the access to in-person events like you hear everywhere, and the access to the metaverse like you hear everywhere, but they get you access to special things like you can only enter a specific liquidity pool, which is like a private hedge fund managed by the team's AIs and researchers. If you own one of the NFTs, that's the only way you can deposit money in. And you also get a share of the protocol that I just went on a giant rant about with Papa. We did the initial sale of our cryptocurrency through these NFTs. We raised all the money we needed. We were raising the money to pay for an audit with Trail of Bits. We already put the deposit down. The audit is confirmed for May 9th. We got all the money we needed. And there's about 360 NFTs left. So it's been a great time, a great ride. And thank you all very much.
Awesome, CJ. So CJ, you got some more time, sir? Because we definitely have questions.
Oh, hell yeah.
All right.
So I had a question, or just wanted to throw that out there too, now that you said that. I was curious if everyone wanted to keep this going. Cryptonomics also, you're at 1%, so you might drop as co-host, right? Yeah. So he just gave me a heads up that his phone's about to die, so he might end up getting dropped. But if you guys want to keep going, I know there's still 900 people in here. Obviously, every time Papa makes a move, the dust follows them. You know what I mean? So, so if there's people here and want to ask questions, and John and Crypto Jesus and anyone else wants to stick around, let's just keep it going. I guess talk DeFi.
Yeah, might as well just open up the floor for some DeFi.
Hell yeah!
AMA.
What's up, Zach? I see your hand there, Zach. What's going on, man?
Hey, thanks for having me on. Just want to say one, Crypto Jesus, like I just followed you. You got me so hype talking. Love your energy. And I just kind of feel the same way. Unfortunately, my job is very short. It only takes a few hours a day, and the rest is just consuming information and trying to learn. So just wanted to say you got me going this morning. But I had a question about your NFT swap. You talked about how people now, it's like, oh, I want to pay in Ether, but I only want to accept Solana or just whatever. I was wondering, what protocol are you using to? Is that a part of your swap?
We created it. It's all our protocol.
Okay, very very cool. I was wondering,
and the reason we have our auditor, Trail of Bits, which is the best smart contract auditor in the world. They did UniSwap, Gemini, Coinbase, Balancer. The reason why we're paying obviously hundreds of thousands of dollars for them to come in and audit our smart contracts is they're a third-party company that comes in to say, hey, not only does our code do what we say it does, so we're not full of shit, but it's secure, so you don't have to worry about losing money when interacting with their protocol.
Very cool. Yeah, I'm definitely going to look into this swap. Amazing features, and love the whole idea.
Thank you very much. What's up, Fuse?
Hey, yeah. So I appreciate you having me up. I kind of had a question about the swap as well. So, and excuse my noob around that area, but so if you don't need liquidity, or I guess you could provide these stop losses, I guess to the impermanent loss, if I'm understanding it correctly, does this have the ability to naturally integrate with games or any game engines? Because it seems like a very obvious use case, especially within like metaverses that have multiple different kinds of NFTs that do different things, and people that want to trade in a network. Is that like a use case to provide liquidity for those swaps? And if so,
yeah, actually, we're in talks with one of them right now about using certain parts of our ecosystem to integrate. They're basically going to wrap a fancy UI around our protocol to put it kind of integrate into their metaverse. But basically, all these things are totally in. Actually, they're in talks right now with certain groups because they want their users to be able to. Some of them want their users to be able to pay in any cryptocurrency. And for the vendors to accept whatever cryptocurrency they want, or they want trustless swapping, or they want rentable NFTs. Because let's say a certain metaverse may have land that's an NFT, and let's say someone builds a bougie art gallery there, and they want to make an income off their art gallery. Well, now they can rent it out to people, and then they can come in and they can put their NFTs on the wall of the gallery, and they can have their event. When the rental period's over, the land just goes back to the original owner.
Yeah, that's amazing. I would love to talk about that offline.
Bro, hop in the Solon Discord.
Oh yeah, hop in the Discord. It doesn't even need to be about Solon. Like, just hop in the Discord to ask any questions. It's in my profile.
Yeah, bro.
Already on the way. For sure.
Bro, we're in the.
CJ, so what are you most excited about? Like, which aspect of Solon are you most excited about? I mean, is it the engine, like the AMM, or I personally, I'm excited for the like the NFT marketplace and just to see how that's gonna all function together. But what about you?
See,
liquidity pool.
Bully. See, I'm a nerd, right? So I'm with Bully. I'm excited for the liquidity pool because I understand like how cool the allowing you to have no impermanent loss and a concentrated liquidity with an nth dimensional value function is. But like to everyone in this space, like most people in here are NFT industries. Some of them are like SafeMoon side, but they think like the whole rentable NFTs thing is really cool because for the first time it provides the ability to make a sustainable income without on your NFT without selling it. And it also creates a metric where we will actually see NFTs becoming a part of everyday society because of that rental technology. Because you can't have things like tickets become NFTs without them being rentable, right? Because if you're not going to make a game, you want to be able to rent out your season tickets. So that part's really exciting, I think, to the NFT space and the NFT industry. But I'm just such a nerd where I think the automated market maker is the coolest part.
Bully, were you saying the same thing? Or like stepping on him?
Yeah, like so I'm super duper bullish on, just the liquidity pool aspect of things, just because I want to be, one of those decentralized hedge fund managers on the Solon DeFi protocol come next summer. It's going to be a movie.
Yeah.
And I already have so many supporters ready to just jump on board behind me in my investment.
Yeah, I mean, it's super dope because you can start your own hedge fund without any overhead, and anyone in the world can invest in your fund with as much or as little money as they want, and they can cash their position out at any time. And it's completely trustless. You don't need to trust anyone. No one holds your money. It's held by smart contracts. It's all controlled by the DAO. So I think it's really dope. And I mean, it creates a whole nother economy too, where let's say you're an individual in a country where you may not have a lot of money, but you do a lot of work like researching cryptocurrencies and you make a good return on investment, but it's not enough because your initial capital isn't very high. Now you can go into our ecosystem, create a fund, do what you normally do. People will see your great return on investment, put money in there, and boom, now you're making 10% off of everyone else just because your research is good, and now it could be your full-time job.
Bugsy, I see your hand, but I just want to reiterate, if you're up, you're a speaker, you have something you'd like to add to the discussion, please throw up a hand on your avatar and we'll get you involved. Bugsy, what's up, man?
Hey, CJ, I got a question from the audience who didn't want to intrude, but he's taking notes, and he said maybe there's other people in the audience that have this question. But can you touch on some of your trusted sources on where you learn and get knowledge about a lot of this stuff? Any basics, books, online reads?
That's an amazing question. And that's the hard part in this industry. That's why like Papa and I were kind of talking about it's you really have to dig the extra mile and it's not there for you. It's where Papa and I are talking about where we get a lot of these resources is literally by taking the time to read these terrible white papers or to like straight up look at code. What I would suggest is honestly, you want to get an understanding of how hierarchies work. So like why people need certain things or why certain cryptocurrencies even have value in the first place. And the best way to do that is by reading these white papers, by going to these websites. You see a new protocol people are hyped about, new cryptocurrency, new ecosystem, whatever it is, go onto their website, read about it on their website. And from there, then go into their white paper to see how they do the things they say they're doing. And then from there, you can get an understanding. If you learn how they do the things they're doing, then you can apply that to everywhere else. And in my opinion, that's the best way.
If I can just hop in there for a sec, there's actually one really good resource for sort of these DeFi protocols and these token economics. And it's sort of like a library of pretty much everything you need to know. So I'm just going to go ahead and pin that to the top of the space if that's okay.
Hell yeah, Casey.
Cool. Thank you. Hey, what's up, Morgan? I see your hand.
Sorry, I had to unmute. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I wish Papa was still here, but there's enough innovators in this space. I think bringing up this topic about the future is just a good idea in general. So what really intrigues me in the future of DeFi and crypto coming together is a combination of thermodynamic energy harnessing and redirection and wearables to in the simplest way, like you could make crypto, whether that be staking, mining, whatever, by just walking and moving, and that can
kinetic energy.
Yeah. So if you could kind of speak on what you know about maybe some advancements that are in the works on that, that'd be awesome.
Ooh, I like this, Morgan. I preach this every day. Is like technically I'm a computer and electrical engineering major, so like I grew up learning about hardware, not the software side of things. So I wanted to innovate personally in the hardware sector because there aren't really innovations there, right? Like all we see are these hardware wallets like Ledger and Trezor and blah, blah, blah. But what they really are is just access to your cryptocurrency wallet, but nice and more secure because you have to confirm transactions in person. And that's all they are. And that's why I wanted to create the Solon wallet to allow you to, interact with full DeFi ecosystems without needing a laptop or a smartphone and being able to read and write to the contract directly. So if you're in a place where, let's say, a country that censors cryptocurrency and blocks these websites, you can still purchase cryptocurrency. But I love that. The kinetic energy thing. I think that's super cool. I recently, I think the card was like a Rivian or something. They were talking about being able to use their graphics cards because they had like a 2070 in there, or something really nice, to be able to mine Bitcoin and Dogecoin and these other things while your car isn't doing anything, which I thought was super, super, super cool, especially, it's an electric car. In theory, you could power it with completely renewable energy. But I haven't heard a lot in the mining sector. As you know, a lot of things are trying to get away from mining, and what we're really going to see left is really just Bitcoin and Dogecoin for the most part, and I guess Litecoin. But it needs to happen, and it's just not there. There's no one really innovating in the hardware sector.
So I have a ton of good ideas. I don't know how many of you hosts have your messages turned on, but if I find one of you, I'll kind of give you what I'm sensing. But it's not only like, oh, sorry, what?
Open up here.
He said his DMs are open.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Bully, your mic is a little whack, just so you know. But I think just about all of us have our DMs open, actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll message you like just some key points that I think has potential. But it could go as far as wearables to utilizing people like with anxiety and overstimulation of the brain, and basically just leveling people out. And I think there's like endless possibilities with the whole energy transfer thing. So yeah.
Yeah, and you know what, Morgan, that's super cool because honestly, it's kind of like what Papa and I were saying before. We're in a light bulb stage. Like, we think of new things every day that people have yet to create. Like, all these things will be implemented eventually, but like people have just yet to create it because there's like real top like Solidity developers that can actually do things like Papa does, or can actually construct DeFi applications. There's 1,000 to 3,000 of them in the world. So it's like every day we're seeing cool new things come out because people are really just starting to innovate, like smart contracts, which allowed for the creation of DeFi and cryptocurrencies built on top of blockchains, and NFTs just came out in 2015. That's only 6 years ago. So the wearables market, I think, would be super, super, super cool. I think using kinetic energy to essentially, do cryptocurrency mining while you're walking, doing your everyday activities is a genius idea.
And all it needs,
and there's just so much.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, continue.
And all you really need to think about in that aspect, like you could do different layers, because obviously people don't want to like hook up to Neuralink or anything that drastic. But it could start with something as basic as insoles, because Nike did a thing, like 10 years ago, where they had pedometers in their insoles in their shoes.
That's a genius idea. Then you don't even think about it. You don't even feel it. You don't even notice it. It's just a regular pair of
Exactly.
shoes.
And nobody's going to steal your shoes because you may or may not be mining crypto. Anyways, I'll step down. I just wanted to put that out there.
You know what? Solon DeFi shoes 2025.
Yeah. There
it's
you
official.
go.
Not the Solon runners. Not the Soul runners.
The Solon runners.
Not the Soul runners.
So
Morgan, thanks for that line of questioning. That's very interesting. What's up, Dante?
No problem. All right, thank you.
What up, how you doing, guys? Like,
How
just
you doing?
big shout out.
Hey, GM, lol all the way.
Lol, bro, GM to everybody. Like, yeah, I'm just amazed with first of all, just the work of Booksy. Like, bro, you are an inspiration for everybody here. Like, you have been grinding this I don't know from since when, but I just like big shout out to you, bro. Thanks for everything. For everybody to know, like I come from a country where we have hyperinflation. The minimum wage is $3 a month. So with these, like one of the things of Solon and all this DeFi ecosystem is the possibility of regular people getting funds. Because imagine if you are like a small business, a small artist, a small everything, like are regular people, you don't have access to financing, and with these liquidity pools, that's another step for everybody to like make their dreams come true without having to go to a centralized platform to ask for money, all around a community that is like really taking care of each and everybody is taking care. Like you can see the support between the community, and for me that's one of the biggest part. I always like my 2 cents here is just inviting everybody to the Discord server of Solon. Like if you want more info or anything, you have any questions, we are always there as well. And these so are amazing people, like they are always willing to ask everybody, because that's one of the ideas, and like bringing new users to this ecosystem, because most of the time people don't realize that DeFi, NFTs, crypto is all together, and we are trying to see all of that in one place, and Solon could be one of those ecosystems helping people. And I'm just really excited because the future is now, and you are building it, and you are being part of the future. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you. I mean, the idea is like using an ecosystem like our funds, right? Someone could make a much more than minimum wage in Venezuela, a lot more, just by doing research on cryptocurrency, right? And they could just create this pool, people put their money in it, and they get a percent of whatever they make them. Or you also have the ability of our ecosystem to store the value of your money in things like US dollar coin, or other assets that are stable, right? Yeah.
And also, we are talking about an authoritarianism, like people don't have access to any financial institution. Everything is controlled by the government. So This is decentralization.
Yeah. This is real decentralization, and it's a luxury here in the United States that we don't even think about, right? It's a luxury we have that most of the world is not fortunate to have, where we don't have to worry about our money. We don't have to worry about our currency inflation. We do have to worry about corruption, but nowhere near the level of a lot of places all over the world. So, another thing you can do with the Solon product, like our hardware product, which is going to be, less than $100, we're actually going to subsidize it in certain geographical locations of the world. So certain people can get it probably close to free, if not free, where you can use our hardware product. You don't need a smartphone. You don't need a laptop. You go through it. You can store the value of your wealth in US dollars without any fees. Well, close to no fees. It's very small, 0.3%. And whenever you want to pay for something in your local currency, you tap your card back on, convert some of the money out, and you pay for it. This way, in a country like Venezuela, which has hyperinflation, or Nigeria, which has had over 71% inflation since 2008, and over 200 million people live there, you can store the entire value of your wealth in a currency like US dollars without having to pay a 20+% conversion fee.
Full same, bullish.
Peter Brad, what's up? It's good to see you, man.
CJ, what's going on? Hey, there's a lot of people in the crew here, and I don't want to waste a lot of time, but I appreciate you all. Bully, I need the bully stocks to go with the soul runners, by the way. Yep.
Yes, sir.
We've been, you guys have been talking some very in-depth level stuff, and you know me, I'm a normie still. CJ, can you describe the evolution from DeFi 1.0 to DeFi 2.0, and is there a potential DeFi 3.0 already here that we're not investigating yet?
Yes. So all of those things are here. Web 3 is what allows for DeFi. DeFi your intro to DeFi is basically, honestly, UniSwap is a beautiful example. And the idea behind it is everyone has a say. And it's not just like, hey, you go to vote for the president and maybe your vote matters, but the senators actually pick. No, it's you have a real say. You can voice your concern. And for the first time, pretend like this is a government, right? Except it's a government in which every citizen's vote actually has a direct impact, but every vote is backed by money, currency that you can exchange your voting power for. And on top of all of that, it's like a corporation in which you have, I guess the best way to compare it to is a corporation, right? So think of UniSwap as a company and think of your cryptocurrency as shares in the company, except your shares actually give you real voting power. So you as an individual can propose anything you want for how to use all the money that this company has generated in fees. So you could propose, hey, let's take 10 Ethereum and build a road here. Or we could say, hey, let's take 100 Ethereum and buy this technology and make more money using this technology. Anyone could propose anything. And as a community, you vote on these things. And if the majority agree to something, then it passes. And basically, it allows for things like time locks and things like that. So if you don't agree with something, you can just sell your position at fair market value and you get cash in exchange for your voting power. You leave, you give your votes to someone else, they pay you for your votes, for equity in this company. And this company generates money. And that's level 0 decentralization. It's essentially real votes that actually matter and that are not, it removes the responsibility of any individual. Because in any other ecosystem, there's potential for individuals to take your money and run to the Bahamas, or to just say, F you, we're doing this instead. This way, there's no risk of that because everything is controlled by equations and smart contracts. And nothing can violate the parameters of these equations. They always have to be true. And that's the beauty of blockchain and decentralization, because all of this is secured and backed by the security of the blockchain and its decentralization.
Now that covers DeFi 1. Would you mind briefly talking about DeFi 2.0 and the evolution of it? Because they're not different. It's just an evolved version. It's more about version 2 versus one versus the other, isn't it? And that's my last question.
So the versions aren't really defined, right? Like that's why I was talking about earlier, like UniSwap, Balance or Bancor, the MakerDAO, and Olympus have been the big innovators in the industry. And the reason why I say that is because they've all have taken smart contracts and introduced a new innovative way to create value for their token holders, all backed by a DAO, which introduces their level of decentralization, their DeFi. So the really cool thing is like you get a protocol like, I would even call the MakerDAO DeFi 2.0. And the reason why I say that, or maybe even Olympus, is because for the first time you can now eliminate banks completely, right? Because you can take a loan on the MakerDAO or even Aave. Essentially, what you do is you get US dollar coin or DAI in the case of the MakerDAO, which is the value of $1. And you get X amount of DAI in exchange for locking up your assets. This way, they have your assets, which is the collateral. So if you never return the money to them, they get to keep your assets. And if you return the money, you get all your assets back. So I would call that DeFi 2.0 because it introduces an ecosystem where for the first time, people can get loans at real fair value where you don't have a centralized entity scraping off you and making money off of you. But you can take a loan out, keep all of your assets, literally keep all your assets. You don't have to sell them. They're just locked up. You take a loan out and then you can make interest off that loan. You can take all that money you just took a loan on and stake it somewhere or create a liquidity position or do yield farming and make money off that loan. In fact, plenty of people make more money off that loan and will use part of it to do something like a down payment on a house like Squirtle did. But it's super, super cool because then in Squirrel's case, you take the loan out, you put your down deposit, and then you use the rest to get a yield. You make money off that interest, and you use that to pay off the interest of your mortgage.
it's really wild, like what you can do with real life things and DeFi. You just have to get over that like risk hurdle of everything being new, smart contracts still getting a little bit more Lindy to them, everything, you know, that goes into that. But like, well, once this stuff like really gets solidified and use cases start leaking into real world scenarios and everything, and there's like a direct correlation to being like, hey, I want to get a home, I'm going to do it through this DeFi protocol that lets me get it basically like funds without any type of middleman, right? Like this is what crypto does, it removes middlemen. So it just helps people all around.
So on my way down, I want to say thanks, CJ, for that explanation. I want to share something. I came into this space, I'm still very much a noob and a normie. And a few people in this space have welcomed me with immense knowledge and love and caring. And just every dumbass question I've ever asked have not talked down to me, but rather chose to elevate my position. Some of those people are on the stage. Specifically, Crypto Jesus gave me an hour and a half of his time personally to describe this shit one time. Bully endlessly educates. John and Bugsy endlessly connect people. Dante, IRL, meets me and walks me through some of this stuff sometimes. Shroom down there educates. Starfucker, yes, that's the guy's name, endlessly has alpha and educates. If you don't know where your starting point is, if you're lost, find some of these people. Start by listening. I'm going to quote the bullish bully. You can't catch up to someone who's on page 1000 if you're not reading the first 10 pages of the book. You can't just say, show me the universe, if you don't know where you're standing. So find a point and ask one specific question, unblock yourself there, and move forward. Thanks, everybody, for the space. I'm going to drop the listeners so other people can speak. Thanks, guys, for letting me talk.
Thank you, Peter Bread. I really appreciate that, man. And like people may think, oh my God, these people know a lot. But once again, we really don't know anything. This is such a new industry. And honestly, like, we have all been in the place where we did not know anything, right? Every single one of the people up here at one point in time didn't know anything about any of this stuff. And you know what? They took a leap of faith. They took the time to really dig in and understand something they didn't know. They didn't understand why it had value. All these things. And now look at us. I could not be more bullish on the space. I don't even own US dollars. To me, that's a fucking shit coin. Because you know what? I am confident in this space because I understand it.
Thank you, Pizza. Much love to you, bro.
Hey, I see your hand, Daiwa. What you got for us there?
Hi, thank you. That made me laugh about the not owning a single US dollar. Well, I have to pay my rent in US dollar, but as much as, that is true, it is true that I don't keep my money, and I'm not going to say much more, but not the same way as I used to in, just like a fear of the apocalypse. I had wads of cash on hand. Not anymore. It's just a funny thing. Anyway, so nobody can come in here and steal my cash. That's just a joke. But I just really wanted, no, I have a question. But I'm one of the newbies, but not newbie, because I've been in crypto since 2017, late 2017, 2018. It's just that I have not jumped into it until this year when, things started really blowing up my mind. So now, and I wanted to thank Casey, I'm a groupie of Casey. He drags me everywhere that he's, holding and I drag myself, basically is what it is. And now I'm listening to all of you, John C. and Crypto Jesus and all the others. I can't even say the names because I don't have my glasses on. So I thank you so much for this space, and I learned so much from it. And Casey answered my basic question earlier, so I'm going to ask my more probably level 2 question, and that has something to do with, if I can read my notes, one, the hedge fund. I know that is something that you could just do, as you said, if you have the basics and you have the basic resources that you need to put it in. And the reason that that is a good idea for me is if you look at my name, it's DUA Philippines. Really, this account is like a it's not so much a public it's a public service I'm sorry, I'm losing my
Hey,
my
I have to
words.
say real
Right.
quick, half my family's from the Philippines.
Oh,
Oh, no way.
They're all from Cebu.
Oh, you are my hero now. So now I know.
That is
We're
insane.
Toronto. So it's a public service from the start. But now I want it to be relevant. And I think the relevance would be in the blockchain, in cryptos, in NFTs, and that kind of stuff. And since I've been into it anyway for 3 years now or so, then I'd like to delve more. My little basically blockade or a little bit of something that I hurdle is that I am more a linguist, writer, translator. That's where I am, but I'm learning a lot, and I want to keep relevant I want to keep myself relevant in this world. So I want to more write about it, learn more about it, and then my third goal for being in this space is to have generational wealth because personal reasons. Casey would know what the personal reasons was. That's where
that's
I'm
why
at.
what Papa was talking about is so important with the automatic generation of tokens, right? Where you get in early, and then for the rest of the time, your pool just keeps getting larger and larger with every transaction. And that's why I think what he implemented there is so cool, and why we need to see it in more places.
Okay, so you just actually read my mind. That was my next question because I don't know anything about that. The automatic, is that like an automatic market? Something like that. Where do I read more about it?
So basically, the way it works is every time someone buys SafeMoon, there's a 10% fee. So basically, 10% of the money you put in is gone instantly. Where the money goes is some of it goes to liquidity to create more money for people to buy and sell the cryptocurrency. And some of it goes to be burned to make the supply scarcer, making it more valuable because there's less of it in circulation. And then the last bit of it goes to everyone else. And basically, it's divided up based on how much of the token you have. So if you own 10% of the supply of SafeMoon, and someone just bought another 10%, they paid a 10% fee on that, which is 1%. 5% of that goes to this, so 0.5%. Then you get 10% of 0.5% if you own the total supply. So your position just increased by 0.05% on that one trade. In that
so
example.
how do I learn? How do I learn more into that? My entry point.
So you can, if you go look at, Papa's white paper for SafeMoon is very, very, very good. It's only a few pages. It is like you just go on the white paper and read. It's 3 pages long. 3 pages long. It explains everything, and the equations for it are also there, which literally shows you exactly how the math works on every transaction. So you can break out your calculator, do a few little examples, and see how they work out.
Okay, we'll look into that. And also then my third point is kudos to Dante for coming into the space. Not a lot of people from developing countries are exposed to this. Yes, we are, or I'm in the US, but a lot of my co-Filipinos, the way that they are exposed to it is in pay to earn, like in, Axie Infinity.
Just like Dante.
Right. Right. Oh, Dante. Oh, okay. I didn't hear that part. So basically, but I want to be able to play a part also, being that I have this many followers, although they're not a lot engaged, but still, you never know what you can offer. I used to, the reason that this page was created a long time ago by Twitter was to help with the disasters, and that's still in there. But there are other means or other accounts that are doing that now. So this is no longer relevant to that. I want to be relevant. I want this page to be relevant in this space now. So, thank you for all that. And I'm going to pursue along that direction the same way as Dante. So Dante, thank you for coming to the space and also giving us ideas. And thank you to everyone. I'm going to go down now and listen more. So thanks a lot. Appreciate your help, guys.
All right, so since we're on the topic, if you guys don't mind, I was going to ask you guys, so Olympus DAO, is that a place where you would stake crypto? And also, that's insane, I'm Chinese and Filipino. Would that be able, would you be able to use that around the world, or is that just like a US thing at the moment? Because this is probably like the 10th time I've heard about Olympus DAO, so I kind of want to learn more about it.
So I'll give you a quick explainer on the Olympus DAO and how it works. Is you do have staking, but there are a few different metrics to the equation. So you have the Olympus token, you have staking, you have bonding, and you can also take out essentially decentralized loans. The way this whole ecosystem works, which is pretty cool, is the OHM token is backed by a quote unquote basket of assets.
Nice.
What those assets are is anyone in the world can go onto OHM's website. They can take out what's essentially a loan. They put their assets up as collateral and they get OHM token in exchange. What OHM does, which is cool and different, is they're basically like a giant hedge fund. What they do is they take that money that is the collateral assets, right? The money that that person just put up as collateral to get the OHM token. They take those assets and they invest them. They invest them into certain cryptocurrencies. They do staking here and there. They get yield here and there, blah, 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 whatever it is. And they get a nice percent return. So they take that staked money. They're earning money off the interest from the OHM token. But on top of the interest, they're also making additional money by managing the assets that are locked up. And that's where the value of the Olympus token comes from. Now, staking, the staking you're talking about that gets like 80,000% APY.
Yeah.
The reason why that's so high is it's based on the number of bond sales. So bond sales are essentially you purchase OHM token by buying these DAOs, these bonds, or you could purchase it outright. The reason why people buy bonds is sometimes it allows you to purchase the OHM token at a discount. Sometimes you're paying a premium. That really depends on the state of OHM. That's why you see people with 3,3 in their bio. That is the ideal situation in which the bonds are cheap and everyone's earning a nice annual percent return. So basically the way it works is that annual percent return is based off the number of bond sales per day. If the number of bond sales per day decreases, that annual percent return in staking is going to decrease. And then eventually the price of OHM token will probably decrease proportionally to that. Obviously, it's backed by this whole basket of assets, but it'll decrease somewhat based on the decrease in bond sales because the curve will semi-flatten out a bit, right? Because you'll see less people aping into OHM because they're already in OHM, and it gets to a nice flat curve, and then there'll be slightly less bond sales per day. The OHM price will come down a little bit, and then it'll just be steady growth for the rest of time, semi-steady growth, based on new people coming into the market as new people come into DeFi. And that's the way it works, essentially. Anyone can be a part of it, but that 80,000% you see is not necessarily sustainable. I wouldn't say it's sustainable at all. It's completely dependent on these bond sales, and that's going to depend on one, the state of the market as a whole, the cryptocurrency market, and two, the state of the Olympus DAO.
And correct me if I'm wrong, CJ. One of the innovative things about OHM, and which also for all the forks of OHM, was that the basket of assets are actually liquidity pool positions. So those assets are earning revenue as they sit there within the treasury, which allows for even more income.
100%. So some of them are liquidity pool assets.
Correct.
Not all of them.
Yeah.
But yes, they make money on trading fees. Like what we were talking about earlier, how Solon makes money, right? Is through trading fees. There's a 0.1, 0.3, or 1% fee on our decentralized exchange. That's standard across every decentralized exchange for the most part. And basically what OHM does is they'll provide liquidity for their own cryptocurrency and for others on UniSwap, on Balancer, blah, 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 you name it, wherever they get a nice return. And they get the fees every time someone trades one of those two assets. And that's an additional source of income for them.
And then the OHM token receives that value, right?
Yeah. So the OHM token there's X amount of OHM token, and all those OHM tokens are backed by this treasury of assets, the basket.
Yo.
What's up, Bugsy?
Nothing. Can we, I don't know if John's available or not, but can we get a little reset here? God, he's way better at getting in there and shutting everyone down. I failed 4 times.
Sure, man. Yeah. No, you're doing great. I was going to let you take it, but thanks, Bugsy. Thanks for everybody that's in the space. We got about 500 people in here. Definitely share the space out if you haven't already so we can get more folks in on this conversation. We're talking DeFi. We're talking Salon. We're talking Salon NFTs. And people are coming up with some great lines of thought. If you're up and you're in a speaker spot, throw up your hand if you'd like to add to the conversation, and we'll call on you. Crypto, you're next up, man. Alex, you're welcome to chime in. If you have nothing to add at the moment, appreciate it if you step down. We do have about 12 requests incoming. So once again, my name's John. We got Crypto Jesus, we got Bugsy, Bully, the usual suspects, Dante and Squirtle, and hopefully we still have a bunch of SafeMoon people, because they were fired up about Thomas earlier. So hope you're still around. If you are, definitely check out Salon DeFi in the Discord and the website. And let's go. What's up, Crypto?
Yeah, cheers, guys. Just want to firstly say thank you and repeat the words everyone else has said. You know, great space. Absolutely rocked it today. Papa rocked it as well. I know he's gone now, but you know, it's been absolutely awesome. Just literally taking notes, learning like everyone else. But my sort of question was more on the DAO vote share. So, like with what we're doing, we're trying to work out a way that we can minimize the whale action on the voting share, and basically what we've come up with is like a meritocracy based system where the whales eventually get moved out of the vote share because people are actually participating in the votes and participating, so it becomes a meritocracy, and they eventually get more and more of the vote. So obviously the more participation, the higher percentage of the vote. But we're very conscious that at the beginning of the project, maybe the first 6 to 8 to 12 months, we are going to potentially have multiple, we're going to have people with multiple wallets that own, more than one token, and effectively whales. So what are your thoughts on being able to mitigate that sort of that vote manipulation risk?
We're introducing another potential, it's not definite, integration, which is going to be flat across the curve to incentivize people to vote. Individuals, essentially, everyone will get paid the same amount, but you will be paid to vote.
Yeah.
Like, you get paid to vote. So then it begs the question, why wouldn't you vote? And since it's linear, even if you're a whale, you get paid the same amount. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's.
But we're working
like
on all the metrics surrounding that.
Yeah,
so that's another thing to try to minimize whale activity and promote the individual activity, because gas fees are a barrier, and sometimes people just won't vote because they have to pay to vote in the current market.
Yeah, no, exactly, and exactly that. And I think that you're looking at paying for it there. Like we were looking at cutting the subscription fee. Like cutting it by 10% of the vote is 90% off, or sorry, 10%, 10%. 100% of the vote free, 90%, 90% off. So yeah, I like a system like that. We're just a bit conscious that in the beginning it's going to be very difficult to mitigate that, but over time you'll just slowly be able to reduce that. Yeah,
that's a great idea, actually. We could create a bonding mechanism. We could create a bonding mechanism where you have to pay more based on the number of tokens you have.
Yeah, exactly.
To vote.
Exactly, bro. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, nice one, brother. Yeah, I was just sort of getting.
And then that money can just go back to the little guys. Oh, whoa. What if we made it? What if we made it so you have to pay more to vote, but that money goes to buying back more Solon token and then distributing it, just like the mechanism for SafeMoon, to all the holders, so their positions increase over time.
Yeah, well, there you go, mate. There you go. So yeah, nice one, CJ. Like I say, I'll drop back as well, boys. I'm sure there's loads of people that want to get up and chat, but thanks ever so much for the space today, and I'll speak to you all soon, guys. Top man.
Yeah,
Thank you, man.
my time's up. I gotta dip out. I got some stuff to do for Deadheads. So.
Me too, guys.
See you, Squirtle. Thank you.
All right,
See ya,
yeah,
guys.
thanks for having me. I enjoyed the conversation. Peace.
Have to jump off soon, so see ya.
See you, Dante.
I see your hand, Andy. Welcome to the stage, Andy.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on. I just we've all heard people talk about like the 10,000 Bitcoin pizza story. Would it be possible for a decentralized stablecoin that kind of solves this problem, or is there a lot
Andy,
that I'm missing?
That's a beautiful question, and it exists. That's the beautiful thing. That's what MakerDAO did, and that's why it's so cool and innovative. They created DAI, which is a decentralized stablecoin backed by assets secured on their smart contract, which is super cool because it's nice and transparent, and you see all the money that it's backed by. Unlike Tether, which everyone is always talking about, fuck, is Tether going to go under tomorrow because we think they're involved in this Chinese company and they don't actually, only 40% of Tether is actually backed by US dollars and the rest is just random ass assets. The Maker DAO solves that problem. Same with Spell, which is also a really cool one. But yeah, it creates a stablecoin DAI, which is always the value of a US dollar, and it's backed by all these assets, and you can see them. It's all transparent on the blockchain, and it's completely decentralized. So you don't have to worry about ever losing your DAI or it going down or losing value or anything like that. It's super, super cool. The problem is we just haven't seen the adoption on the retail side. A lot of retail is, I hate to say it, but they're dying, and Amazon's been a great promoter of their death. But retail is dying. Like, everything's going digital. It's just the reality of it. Now, are these digital markets going to accept things like DAI? 100%. When is it going to happen? I don't know. We're seeing today a lot of digital markets are now accepting Bitcoin and Ethereum. So it's right around the corner.
Awesome. That's a great response. I appreciate you guys having me up there. I'll definitely look into DAO. I'm surprised that's not really been on my radar for that. But I appreciate it.
Thank you. It's the Maker DAO, and the Maker DAO token. They have two different cryptocurrencies. They have DAI, which is their stablecoin, and then they have the Maker token, which is their governance token. So basically, the way it works is the Maker token is their governance token. So if you own it, you get to vote on the future of the protocol and how to use the money it's generated in fees. Also, the Maker token has additional value because the way it works is people have to use Maker if they want to get DAI. They actually burn a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of Maker to do that whole interaction where they can lock up their assets to get DAI. It doesn't cost a lot of money for them to do it, but they have to burn Maker, and that's the key. So Maker is actually a completely deflationary asset. The supply, the amount of Maker in circulation is just consistently decreasing. All of it is in circulation. It's just constantly becoming scarcer and scarcer, rarer and rarer, which increases its value.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, guys. I loved hearing that response, and I look forward to the rest of the show. Thanks.
Thank you. SafeMoon Sailor, what's up?
How you guys doing today? Thank you very much for bringing me up. How are you? Man? Oh man, I'm doing better now. I found a really positive space, which is this one. I just wanted to come up and tell you guys thank you for hosting such a beautiful, uplifting, positive space. This is what it's about: community, unity, supporting one another, and looking out for one another, not creating bad vibes, not creating negative energy. Whether it's good things we talk about or bad things we talk about, we still talk about them in a respectful manner. And that's what I love about this space. And I just want to, just take a second to remind everybody, show a little love to the host, the co-hosts, give them a follow, retweet the space out. And let's remember, help one another, and we all going to the moon together.
Hell yeah, brother.
Nice one, Sailor.
Much love, guys. Much love. And always remember, I got your back like a butt crack. I'll always be there.
Hell yeah, man. You
I
too.
got your guys' back.
That's what this space is all about, right? SafeMoon has the best community.
Actually, I have all your guys' back. I love everyone on here. Twitter space is just such a creative space. It reminds me of just being in school and walking into a class and everyone's just still learning and it's not even a real class.
All right, who's up next? Anyone have their hand raised?
I don't. Not sure. But probably some people at the bottom.
I just want to. So I woke up at like 9 a.m. PST, and I immediately turned on the space and just started listening to it. And then I fell back asleep and just woke up like 15 minutes ago. But I noticed you guys are you're recording it. So are you going to post the space anywhere? Once you
so we always do YouTube. And then on top of that, the recording feature on Twitter allows you to tweet it out. And I think it lasts like 30 days or something crazy.
Oh, wow.
So we can just keep retweeting this space so people can just essentially just re-listen to it on Twitter.
Like audiobook. That's so dope.
Yeah, it's so cool. Such a great feature. All right. Air Guitar, what is up? How are you doing?
How's it going, guys? Thanks for the space. Super awesome vibe.
Thank you for coming up.
Calling in from South Africa. We are building a game for musicians to put their music in it, and then people can play their game against each other to their musicians' music. And we're looking for ways to pay musicians. I don't know if you've got any suggestions for mechanisms or tools. So we're going to use like secondary sales from the NFTs. We're going to give 25% to musicians based on how many plays they get, 25% to players, 25% to buying up like supply and removing and like deflationary stuff. Do you have any suggestions?
You need to talk to Eric Elliott. Absolute genius. He created what is now YouTube Music, huge Web3 developer. He's working on something called Green Room. Essentially, it's going to be a marketplace for music, NFTs, similar to OpenSea, but for music. But this cool, super dope new thing he created is get rid of record labels, get rid of all these things. You don't need them. Instead, he created this feature he calls amping, where essentially people can go and listen to music, and if they like it, it's like retweeting it, right? It gets it more exposure. It's free marketing. He calls it amping. But what they get for doing that is they get a percent of their sales. So they get a tiny percent of their sales, but it creates a market where for the first time it's like play to earn, but it's play to listen or pay to listen. Where these people can go and they just listen to music, they retweet music they like, essentially retweet, and they can get a cut of the user's profit in exchange for doing all their marketing, promo, exposure, blah, 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 etc. for them. And it's as simple as clicking like a retweet button. Really genius idea. Eric Elliott is an amazing, innovative individual. Definitely reach out to him. He is on Twitter. He is fairly active. He hosts space every week. 100% go talk to him. He might even be interested in combining.
Awesome. Do you know where I can find him? Is it the JavaScript guy? Eric Elliott JavaScript. JS.
It is _ Eric ELLIOTT. He's got 63,000 followers.
Okay, cool. You mind if I put up the game?
Sure.
Okay, cool. Thanks for the space, guys. And I'm going to try chat to Elliot.
All right, sounds great. Have a good one. Joey, what's up? How are you doing?
Hey, good afternoon. Thanks for calling me up, or whatever it is in your time zone. A couple questions / suggestions. You're offering fractionalization and renting of NFTs. What do you have planned for verification?
What do you mean by verification?
So like every platform has certain criteria to verify the NFTs. Is there anyone? Go ahead.
So it's as simple as a contract verifies the collection, right? So the Bored Ape Yacht Club collection, sorry, someone's echoing. But the Bored Ape Yacht Club collection has a specific contract address, and that cannot be faked. Essentially, it's just going to be this contract address is connected to this collection, and this verifies that this is this collection, and it's that simple.
Okay, because like I've been trying to urge any project to come up with an aggregate of all marketplace verified NFTs, kind of taking the power out of that centralization. But
yeah, the problem in that is so we created a platform where also we have tools for artists where they don't need to pay for Solidity developers for things like minting contracts. They just plug and play, like they enter their variables, percent rarity, everything, hit create, and then they can deploy it on our ecosystem for free. So the way it works is actually things like royalties are introduced by the marketplace's contract, not by a minting contract. They're not specific to a collection. They're actually specific to each one of these individual marketplaces because it actually has nothing to do with the contract address for an NFT collection. So it's the same problem for exactly what you're talking about, where essentially in order to do something like that, you would have to scrape the entire blockchain and just verify everything connected to its contract address.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I understand that it's problematic, but it's also kind of what you're building sounds like it could be an opportunity for like up and coming ones to essentially just buy their own NFTs and then offer it as a fractionalized marketplace to people.
Oh yeah, 100. Anyone could do that on our platform. They don't need to do anything special. They can just instantly do that.
And then my other question / suggestion is, I understand the need for trustlessness and decentralization, but with your something you said kind of like ringed a bell. How you said like somebody can fractionalize an NFT like a Bored Ape, but not the utility.
Correct.
Is there any kind of thoughts into integrating communication between holder and renter?
So when you fractionalize an NFT, when you rent it out, you get the utility. If you fractionalize it, the NFT is no longer controlled by the original owner, and that's the point of fractionalization, right? You want it to remove that person, because then you don't really own a fractional bit. They still own the whole thing. The NFT actually goes to a smart contract, and it's held by that smart contract. It is not controlled or held by any individuals, and it can only be taken out of that contract if someone acquires all of the tokens representing that NFT.
Yeah, because what I was asking is, like, say I own a Bored Ape Yacht Club and I can fractionalize it, but I'm still the owner, so I get the utility.
No, you are no longer the owner.
Oh.
So it's owned by this. No one has the utility. It's owned by this smart contract, and it's kind of like a DAO, where everyone who owns some of the cryptocurrency for that Bored Ape can vote on how they want to use the utility as a collective. But it's still one of one. It's still that one utility case, right? So you can vote as a collective how to use that utility, but it's not necessarily going to benefit everyone. But you get a vote. It's up to you if you even want to use it in the first place.
Wow, that's layers. But that's cool, because it sounds like you are having some kind of, like, even if it's just like decentralized DAO like services as a form of like communication, like your DAO can agree to rent it out.
Correct.
That's like layers on layers.
So you could have things like fractional real estate, right? You could buy a piece of real estate, fractionalize it, everyone owns it, it's completely liquid. And then as a DAO, you can agree to who you want to rent it out to and for how much money. And then boom, you're making an income as a collective.
That sounds fun.
So would you say it's kind of like magic internet money, but for NFTs?
Yes, it is.
Movie, bro. Movie. Movie.
What's up, Bugsy? Oh, sorry.
Hey, I just want to say something real quick. I see, this whole purpose of this space was for me to try to merge together like the SafeMoon community and the DeFi side. And I think we were pretty successful in the beginning. And obviously a lot of people have left and whatnot. But I do see Randolph down there as a listener, and I just want to give him a shout out, because since I've been in all these SafeMoon spaces the past few days, I've learned that Randolph is a very inspirational person with SafeMoon, and I just want to say hi to you, and thanks for everything you've taught me the past few days as far as SafeMoon's concerned.
Oh, he's actually trying to come up. Let's get him up here. He is connecting. Randolph, can you hear us?
Hello, all right. Yeah, it's takes a few seconds to come into play. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I literally just joined, just to have a listen. But I know that Bugsy's in here, and we were talking yesterday to Papa from SafeMoon. I see it's to do with NFTs. What's the story? What have you been talking about?
Shout out, Randolph. How you doing, brother?
I'm good.
CJ, go ahead and give them the overview of what we've done so far, where we're at.
So initially it started with me asking Papa a few questions about SafeMoon, their level of acceptance of decentralization, potential integration of DAO structures, potential profit models to actually create a backing in Binance Smart Chain tokens, aside from liquidity, for the SafeMoon token, where essentially their decentralized exchange would take a fee, and those fees go to backing the SafeMoon currency to give it additional value. And then from there, we moved into talking about my new ecosystem coming out in July. And then we started taking questions, and that brings us to where we are now.
Cool. A confirmation really on the SafeMoon side is that they had to take the NFT button. I don't know whether you know any of this, but they had to take the NFT button off. I had this confirmed earlier on because we were talking about NFTs because the NFT name on the tab, Apple weren't having any of it because they wanted to take a piece of the action from any transaction. So they've taken that off. They've had to go away. It's definitely in John Crony's mind. It's not in the pipeline in the very near future because obviously the exchange blockchain Operation Phoenix is coming up in the next 6 weeks with the change of contract as well. But it's in his mind with the SafeMoon card to be coming, very soon. It'll be in the new year, obviously, because you can't do too many projects. But it's definitely something he's interested in because NFTs can be used in so many ways.
It's so cool. Like we actually did kind of like our ICO as an NFT sale, and we gave the NFTs like cool new special utility that is yet to exist, like for certain liquidity pool management and interaction and things like that. Because I love NFTs, and people have yet to really find really cool utility for them. Like you see people trying to integrate like things like DAOs and staking and blah, blah, blah into NFTs, but it doesn't really make sense. A lot of the ways these things are executed or implemented, they're just trying to use fancy marketing terms to prop up their NFTs. But I love NFTs. I'm like, well, there's just so much you can do with non-fungible tokens and integration into decentralized finance. So I was all over it. I love it. Aside from that, I'm going to head out of this space at 2:30. So in 13 minutes, my niece and nephew are here. I haven't seen them in 6 months. So I'm going to head out in 13.
Awesome. So let's continue to circulate people with questions up to the top. Let's go next to Chris. Chris, did you have a comment or a question for the gang?
Yeah, sure. Hi guys, and first of all, thank you very much for sharing all that knowledge, man. It's amazing. The second thing about it is that I don't think people understand what you guys are doing there. After I'm like seeing this, I'm an artist and a musician, and all the questions I see around in the NFT rooms and all the questions we have, so it's basically there. So it's like a Spotify that musicians actually get the money, and you could turn on like something like this. And even for the
be game changing.
Exactly, and even for the art, some of my art, I have some galleries on some metaverse, and they're always asking for us to display the art there, right? And the only thing we get in for is like just people watching, and if they watch, but like this, we can actually get some fee from having the art there, so they can rent the art to add there, right? And even if you don't have money to put some art in your house, in your metaverse, you can add it. So my first question is, so this is the teleportation Star Trek bridge we were like talking about, right? So that I can mint my work in your platform, and it bridges between the different metaverse that have different protocols like Ethereum and Polygon.
Correct. So the NFT itself wouldn't have utility on Polygon. We're actually working on the world's first bridge for NFTs between Ethereum on layer 1 and Arbitrum on layer 2 that would allow you to transfer a normal Ethereum NFT over, which has yet to exist. This has yet to exist. So essentially, you could use the NFT with the same utility on layer 2.
So that's the real game changer as well, and it's like amazing. The other thing I want to ask you for crypto, I'm sorry, it's I'm doing a generative art, and I'm coding in P5J, and now to mint it to the Polygon network is like an headache, because to keep the function of the art. In my case, I'm putting the music to react to different frequencies, and also to movement. And so to put that function in the mint so that it works in the metaverse, it's like a headache. And for what I see, Will it be possible to be easier, like when I do this kind of art, where is music and art combined with function of coding? Will it be more like easy to mint my work?
Yeah, so that's the goal of what I'm doing, right? Because a minting contract is basically the same no matter where you look. Essentially, what I'm allowing the users to do is they don't even see the contract; they just input the variables. Essentially, how many pieces they're going to have in their collection and the percent rarity of each one, and then from there they can go. And we have another feature where you can build your own DAO, and they can create a DAO that's governed by their NFTs. So each one of their NFTs is one vote in the DAO, or they can change the voting power for each NFT based on rarities or properties.
Because now it's just the JSON, the JSON file, right? And just give just give the properties and not the function. So it's amazing. It's man, this is the only thing I'm going to talk about when somebody asks me about where to mint music in the future. And I'm
thank you. July 1st at noon Eastern time. It will be live.
Yeah, but I'm buying now. I'm all over it. I'm gonna be reading all about it. And thank you guys. This is amazing. I don't think people understand the reality of this thing. For me as an artist, this is everything I was looking for. This is what was missing everywhere. It doesn't matter. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much, man. I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you for coming up.
Yeah, you're welcome, man. Thank you.
Yo, real quick, I just want to say, like, the last 2 to 3 weeks, it's been insanely interesting to see these gas optimized smart contracts where you're only paying like 20 to 30 US dollars, like a very, very little amount of ETH to actually mint something now. So, you're not seeing like these crazy like 0.03, 0.04, like crazy gas fees to mint NFTs from contracts anymore. We're starting to like get better and better at the Solidity coding and writing these smart contracts and stuff to where people are realizing you can optimize them for gas, and you really don't like the days of paying like 0.03 and shit and more to mint an NFT are like slowly coming to an end, because like I'm seeing all these new contracts come out and they're like, I minted something just like a week and a half ago and it was like $15 gas to mint the NFT, and it was just on Ethereum, and like it's
true. Just
crazy.
you wait until this company called ZK Sync, so bullish on them. They are introducing the world's most efficient ZK rollups. Essentially, it's like an envelope. You can package all your transactions in this envelope, dramatically reduces gas fees on layer 1. And they have said in their report 175x in reduction. I guess that's divided by 175. But so if your average gas fee is $100, now it's going to be in 60 cents, right? Which is huge.
You said
and,
ZK rollup?
ZK rollups are called. In the entity that is creating this really efficient rollup is called ZK Sync. What's up, Falco?
How you spell that?
Let me check real quick. Quick Google.
Or if they got a Twitter I could follow or something like that, that'd be tight.
ZKSYNC.
Yep, I just pinned their Twitter up top, guys, for anyone who wants to go check it out. That's awesome.
So cool.
I did not know.
They've been working
about
on
that.
this, by the way, since like 2018. So they are the shit. There are a few other roll-up protocols, but ZK Sync is where it's at.
Yo, what is this?
I want to ask another question too.
Oh, I'm sorry.
My bad.
Go ahead, bro.
I appreciate you. So my question is basically, if you're minting on your own website, right, through your own like smart contract, you still have to pay to mint every single time, and that's why bundling is smarter.
Correct.
Okay. So
it's not bundling. It's not bundling within that contract. It's bundling within the Ethereum blockchain. So it's your transactions bundled with some other random person's transaction, not interacting with the same contract. Potentially could be, but more likely not. That is trying to, let's say, swap on UniSwap, and then another person in Z location that is
minting another project, and another person over here that's creating DAI, and it's all packaged in the same envelope. It's based on time, actually, block period transactional.
It's on the token time.
It's based on blocks, so the number of blocks. So it's that's how you measure time in the blockchain, because there's no actual reference to real time, is blocks and their estimates. That's why things like Chainlink are really cool, off-chain oracles, because they introduce variables like time from the real world into the blockchain.
Okay, so what I wanted to ask is, say if I want to do like a profile picture project with 500 pieces, right, on my own website, through Ethereum, I could use like this ZK rollup thing, even if it's
not yet.
I mean, when it comes out, yeah.
Yes, it'll just be integrated into the blockchain, and it'll just be automatic. You won't have to do a thing.
Sweet. All I have to do is just use their project or whatever.
Yeah. Worst case scenario, you go through their website and you integrate like a line of code or something into a minting contract, or you interact with it's not going to be anything too complicated.
Awesome. Thank you.
Last call.
We got a few more minutes. Just wanted to throw it down to Friday only.
Hey guys, thanks for letting me talk.
Y'all hear me?
First of all, this is a great community. Thank you so much for hosting this. I just had two questions that are on my mind. One is, it is well known that Silicon Valley sedates talent to keep them from leaving, sedate them with excellent wages, superb treatment, so that they don't leave and build something that could change the world. And I'm just wondering, the first question is this on the DAO's radar? The DAO communities, are they talking about this? Is there a plan to use these treasuries, which we've talked about, to lure in crucial talent to help build the space faster? And my second question is, how do I get in? I'm a CPA. I was doing research on DAOs. I think it's been a long time since we've invented a new way of organizing ourselves. It's been a long time since the corporation was invented. I think the DAO could be the future in a lot of ways. And my research turned up that anyone can work for a DAO. I'm a CPA. I joined a DAO, but it seemed that the only talent that they wanted were people who were either event organizers, developers, or writers.
Yeah, so this is where I think that idea of thinking is fundamentally flawed, the idea of hiring people. I think everyone in the world should be a freelance employee.
Agreed.
And by the way, I love your Roman Empire profile picture. So the reason why I say this goes back to the metric I was talking about before, where UniSwap, for example, pays people to complete bounties. They hire people as developers, blah, 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 etc. I think that metric should be flipped on its head, where in fact, where anyone in the world can go and propose some work they've created, some marketing they've done or are willing to do, et cetera, or new development work or new art, whatever it is. And then the community, the DAO, you as an individual and all the other token holders, scroll through the site. You can see all these proposals. You vote on them. You can see their work right there. And if you're an expert in code, you can go look at it. You can say, hey, this looks Gucci. I think this is cool. I think this is innovative. You don't even need to be an expert. You have an opinion too, but it's also good to get their opinions. But anyone can scroll through and vote on anyone's work. And then people just get paid based on the quality of their work, right? Because this fosters innovation. This is a market where you're not looking for one individual thing, but you're looking to acquire potentially everything. And that's what we were talking about earlier, Papa and I, is we see and hear about the craziest new implementations of smart contracts every single day. And this kind of ecosystem fosters that, because someone can create a new innovative technology and just put it up, post it. And if people think it's innovative, then we buy it. We essentially acquire it.
I really like the psychology that, the psychology of looking to contribute to the space, to build up the space. It's tribal in a good way, but I guess I'm just not sure how to get in, how to get involved, how to contribute work as a CPA. I'm wondering, do I need to go back and and redo my education again. I've already been to university twice, so I'm just.
Are you kidding me? Everyone wants CPAs right now, especially in this space.
So I don't know how to get in or how to get involved or to contribute my talent.
Right here. You are in the right space. Right here is honestly Twitter. The most active market you'll see is the NFT market, because NFTs are all about community. And I honestly think you should start there personally, is with NFTs. That's where you'll get a better sense of community. That's where you'll actually get people who will give you the time of day. And that's where you'll get people that see the value in something like a CPA when we're all shitting ourselves right now trying to figure out what we're going to do when it comes tax season. Honestly, if I were you, I would just keep popping into these Twitter spaces, keep talking to people, keep meeting people, keep making friends. Here, I just gave you a follow. See?
Oh, thanks.
That's what it's all about. Really, at the end of the day, it's just getting to know people. Like it's just like meeting John. I've never even met John in person, and I can say he's one of my closest friends. Right?
That's the funny thing about this space is everything is remote, and you have people who've been working together for months, and they've never actually met in person. I love that. Like I love the balance between privacy and community. I want that social side, but I also want the remote work side.
Hell yeah. Friday only, I gave you a follow as well, and just we'd love to have you in the Salon Discord. So go up to the top of this space, click through the links to the Salon website, find the Discord, and get in there. You can also slide into any one of our DMs if you need directions. But what's up, Bugsy?
No, I was just looking for. I got a DM from somebody that kind of helped us push this space along here. Crypto Hodler, and he asked if he could come up and talk to CJ before he leaves real quick for a quick question. I can't find him in the crowd. So,
hey.
Hello, Connor. What's up?
Yo, I just had a question on what do you see Ethereum being at or Solana being at by the end of the year going into 2022?
I'm an Ethereum maxi, and nothing I say is ever financial advice, but I believe in the value of decentralization, and Solana controls 45% of their nodes in-house, which makes them not really decentralized at all. Quick speech about it. I'm a 100% ETH maxi. I see ETH as being more valuable than Bitcoin, and that's all I'll say. I don't know when it's going to happen. I could never say when it's going to happen, but in 10 years from now, I know Ethereum will be worth more than Bitcoin, and maybe worth more than the total circulating supply of the US dollar. And that's all I have to say. If you're looking to invest in cryptocurrency, make sure it's money you are willing to lock up, because if you do lock it up, you will have nice returns. If it's money that you may need and you may be forced to cash out at an unfortunate time, that is not going to be in your favor.
Yeah, you can't build on Bitcoin, bro. That's why I hate it. I love Ethereum. Build on that shit, make it better, make all this new shit. Bitcoin's good. It was the first. It paved the way for us, but it's a dinosaur and it's time for it to go extinct, in my opinion. Ethereum,
I think it'll always be a store of value. It's just always going to be digital gold, and that's all it'll ever be, in my opinion.
That's a good use for it. Digital gold. While Ethereum, you can do anything with.
All right, last questions, and then I gotta head out. Anyone else?
Lockster, how do I find? Sorry, I'm not able to find the Salon Discord. Where exactly is that link?
So if you look up top, you see like the message up above.
DeFi Mind Explosion, Crypto Jesus, Salon.finance/NFTs.
Yeah. So keep scrolling over. And I guess we don't have it pinned up top, but click on my profile picture. And then it's in the link of my bio.
I want to ask one more question before we all dip out.
What's up, Falco?
I wanted to ask a stupid question and then a question about y'all opinion. Is there any possibility to write up some sort of code or something like that to get a cheaper gas fee on the OpenSea initialization fee? That's probably sounds like a stand-up.
That's up to OpenSea. Yeah. Anything you write, it's just going to add gas costs, to be honest with you.
What's it?
Anything you write is just going to add to the cost because it's another contract interaction on top of the current one. That OpenSea would have to fundamentally change.
Okay, and then my second question is, what's y'all opinion on marketplaces like, say, an OpenSea on Ethereum blockchain? Do you think it has an advantage, or do you think people should start moving towards having their own stores?
Well, that's what I'm doing with my own protocol, right? I'm creating a decentralized version of OpenSea with a 0% fee and have all these tools so artists don't need to pay anything to get involved, and they own their own minting contracts. I think it's extremely valuable. I believe in decentralization. I believe in the individuals being able to control the entirety of their wealth. I don't believe in paying out middlemen. And that's what it's all about. And we're not only going to be on Ethereum, we'll be on Ethereum, Polygon, and Arbitrum. So you have all the layer 2 fees as well.
All right. Can you put Tez on there too?
Tezos, I mean, eventually we're going to go to other blockchains, but not initially.
All right.
Starfucker, what's up?
Guys, what's going on? What's going on? Great space today. Guys, question. How does someone that's sitting down there in the space, how do they get started? We've talked a lot, past 2.5 hours, covered a lot of topics. How does that person that has like $100 that's looking to, build that into something, how would he get started once he gets off
Layer
of this?
2. Honestly, like Ethereum's not there right now. Eventually we'll see it, and in the next 6 months we should see it. But right now, no. It doesn't make sense unless you have thousands of dollars. So look at layer 2, Polygon and Arbitrum, if you still want to interact with things that are native to Ethereum. If not, totally look at these other blockchains like Cosmos, Binance Blockchain, Solana, all these other things where you're sacrificing decentralization for cost. Tezos too.
Yeah, and just practically, like if you're totally new to this, like you don't own crypto, you've never dipped your toe in, the easiest and quickest way is to open a Coinbase account and start dollar cost averaging, maybe a few bucks, 5, 10, 20 bucks a week into Bitcoin and Ethereum. And just by nature of getting that process started, you're going to be checking your balances every single day. And then you're going to just natural curiosity will take you to learning more and more about the space. So I believe you need skin in the game to get in the game. So buy some crypto on a centralized exchange, and that'll get you started.
My grandpa bought $500 of Bitcoin at $16,000 on Cash App like a year ago when I told him. He's still holding that today. And he's been asking me about NFTs recently because I made a post about him on Facebook when I got the ENS airdrop.
That's lit as fuck, Shroom. Well, yeah. I got to head out, guys. I got to say hi to my niece and nephew. It's been too long since I've seen them. But thank you all for coming out here today. I appreciate it. Thank you, John, for hosting. Thank you, Bugsy, for being the plug. Thank you to Bully for pulling out. Thank you, Shroom, Randolph, Starfucker. Let's go. All right. Have a great evening, everyone. Thank you very much.
Have a good one, guys.
Let's go.
Thanks, CJ. Yeah, we're going to close it up, guys. It's been a hell of an afternoon. Hope you all have a lot to think about. Come and visit us in Discord, the Salon DeFi Discord. Let's follow each other on Twitter, and we'll see you around.